ice, take a grip, rip and sip. Let the moment flick, catching feels not just...
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Rib and Sip podcast. I am CurioRich. I've always been CurioRich of Curio Collectors Club and Curio Card Care. I'm not going to say the other ones because I end up tripping myself up. We've also got, as always, RagingNes. How you doing, mate?
Good. I've got a new camera, Rich. Because the last one shit itself.
Literally shit the bed. And I thought you were doing the best robot impression ever, and it turns out that you weren't. It was
like,
knackered.
Literally, I only saved my dance moves for the dance floor.
Oh, I've seen them, mate. I've seen them to Spice Girls, and it's incredibly concerning.
Unbelievable.
So we've got the new camera.
Yes.
You've got a ring light that you're not using. Yep. And then the only thing missing is a microphone, and then we might actually be able to have a serious podcast.
No, we still need a studio for that, mate.
That's true. Fancy studio. Okay, but then that costs money. We haven't got any of that, so...
No, we're broke.
But I'll tell you what we do have. We've got some guests.
We do.
But more importantly, we've got a very important guest today. So, without further ado, 10,500 followers on Instagram. An insane collection spanning 15 years. Someone told us to call our dealer with the Goldin touch. So, without further ado, let's introduce Chibi Collectibles. Sam. How you doing, buddy?
Yeah, I'm good. Thanks for having me on. I haven't done the podcast in a while, but I'm happy you invited me on. I'm so down to talk Pokemon for a couple of hours. So yeah, excited.
We always deliver on that, and we'll always hop back to the Randy podcast that we had with Ace, and he was there. He was happy to chat for hours. So yeah, we're down for that. So welcome, buddy. Thank you so much for coming to join us and shoot Pokemon with us. I really appreciate that.
Yeah,
sorry. Without further ado. We'll jump into the first question. Where did Pokemon first enter your life?
So like most, I guess, people of my generation, 90s kids, I guess, is when it first come out. And it was in the school playground. And I remember this memory like it was yesterday for some bizarre reason. One of the kids that I knew had Pokemon cards. And he was showing them about, and I was like, oh, these are really cool. And he gifted me a Machop from Base Set. And I was like, oh, this is sick. I was looking at it, kept it in my back pocket. 2 hours later, disappeared. Don't know where it went. I was in bits. But that was the first like core memory of being introduced to Pokemon. Obviously, there's stuff with like, you know, going out there, my mum buying me packs. I used to go and see my grandparents in Cornwall on my mum's side. And every time we go down, they'd buy us some cards, some packs, etc. So it spans all the way to basically the beginning. So yeah, I've been there a while.
And what was the first Pokemon card that you remember, other than the Machop? Was there another one which is ingrained in your brain as being the first big one?
Yeah, so it's Base Set Charizard, as basic as that sounds. But again, when we were in Cornwall on a family vacation, there used to be a place called Par Market, which is still there today, and used to have a little TCG shop. And I went in there, and there was a Base Set Charizard, and my nan was looking at it, and she seen I was interested. She's like, "Oh, do you want it?" And my mum was like, "Oh, it's too expensive." At the time, it's £15. But £15, however many years, I'm too old now, like 25 years ago was quite a bit, especially on cardboard, right? But she was like, no, I'll get it in. So she bought me it, and I had it in my binder, and everybody that I showed growing up in high school was like, oh, this is amazing. I still own that card today. It's in my base set still.
That's sick.
And it's probably one of the cards I will never sell just because it has sentimental value. Both my grandparents have passed away now on that side. So it's just like a little bit like a reflection, a memory. If they hadn't have bought me that, maybe I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing today and wouldn't have got as far. But yeah, that's the big first one, I guess.
That's amazing.
That's awesome.
Shout out Par Market, by the way. I spent every year there as a child whenever we visited Cornwall on the way down to Mevagissey. So yeah, we'd always stop at Par Market. So yeah, fair play to that.
That's cool. When would you say collecting was? I mean, back then collecting was fun, but what period would you say then it became an obsession?
I feel like I had a lot of cards from being a kid, and I used to rearrange them into like sets into the 151 order, and eventually when I probably got to the age I put them in a cupboard and kind of forgot about them. It wasn't until I was probably 16 in college I was getting I can't remember what the government funding was, but it was like £30 a week, and I was like, maybe I should maybe like complete my cards and put them in actual base set jungle fossil order. So I took them out and I did, and I was on eBay even back then, and this was Jesus, years ago now. I'd go on, I'd look, and I'd go on someone's listing and see what cards they had, and message them and be like, you've got this card, this card, this card. Could you do it for this price for me and whatever? And at the time, it was nothing. Like basic Venusaur was like £6 or something. And then basically, I completed the set how I wanted it. So I think I did base, jungle, fossil, rocket, and then I was like, I'm completed it. I'm happy now. Put it back in my wardrobe for a bit again. And then when I met my partner, which is I'm trying to think of the date. It was
She's going to
been
hammer you
together
for this.
14 years. Yeah, probably will. We've been together 14 years. But when we were in college anyway, we got together and she liked Pokemon and so did I. And it came back out then and I was like, oh, this is what I've got. She couldn't find hers in her loft and we were like, right, she really liked Pokemon. I like Pokemon. It was like our first thing that connected quite well. And then we kind of really started delving then, to be honest.
Sick. Awesome.
Amazing.
Awesome. Oh, what was the first card that made you think that actually this could be worth something? Like,
so that's a tough one, right? Because we were buying stuff on eBay in collections, and the goal for us was always to buy a collection and complete a set with the cards we needed. So my main trick back then was look for a collection with a gold star in, take all the cards we wanted out, because we were trying to do every set back then, like absolute animals. It was crazy. And then sell the rest. And whenever we recouped, we'd then spend it again. We'd have a little bit of money, to spend here and there, but not too much. So I think for me, it was probably the gold stars, mainly because, I don't know, I thought they stood out from everything else, obviously, coming out of the border. They were rare to get out of the boxes. I think it was 1 in every 3 boxes or something. And I thought this would be a cool thing to own. And I kind of like shiny Pokemon because they're a bit different. Obviously, going back to it's like 2011, 2012. There wasn't really a massive collector base there. Like you couldn't really find stuff.
Yeah.
There was no real YouTube too much, no Instagram. So I was like, I'll just collect what I liked, which was shiny Pokemon, which was the Shinings, Gold Stars, SLs. It was the start of the shiny black and white cards. And that's kind of what I did. And I think Gold Stars was probably the first thing I bought and went, these would be cool to like own a full set. So that was probably the first me going, it'd be worth buying this for the set, for the value. But it wasn't like the forefront of my thinking. It was more, these are cool, I kind of like them. And they weren't too expensive back then.
no.
Yeah, I've got some stories of finding eBay solds that I bought stuff for, like Torchic, Mudkips, Tricos. They're like £18 a pop, near mint. So it was one of them things where I was buying them. I think I got 12 cards of the gold stars, and obviously being a student, I was like, "Oh, this is so much money. I can't keep them." So I sold them all. I've probably made £1 or £2 on each card, and I was collecting LP on near mint at the time. And then I think I got my first like part-time job with my dad. It's like 40 quid a day, shoveling all sorts of shit up and cleaning gutters and on a building site basically. And then I was like, nah, do you know what? I'm going to actually go for the set. So it took me 12 months, but I completed the whole 27 gold star set for roughly back then about £1,200 for the whole set.
Wow. Even then, that's still quite a lot. So was it the Charizard at the time that was the most expensive?
No, so it was it's one of the, we'll go to what I regret selling the most, but one Christmas, I asked my mum and Lottie, my partner, to buy me a pair, which was the Espeon and Umbreon Gold Star from America. They were $250, and they were the hardest ones I needed. And they arrived, and they were packed fresh. They were super clean. So that was the majority. I think the Zard was maybe like 50 quid.
Wow.
Most of the others were 18 to 30, depending on the condition. So it added up, but it wasn't like crazy. And over obviously 12 months, I mean, I've been 12 or 14 months, I can't remember. You can span it and it's not as bad as like everyone's a bit impatient now where they want everything tomorrow.
Yeah.
I was very patient by then. Like I'll collect what I want and I'd buy copies, sell my old copy to upgrade the condition. So yeah, not a lot over the span. It was like what, £100 a month or so.
Yeah. Christ.
Before Chibi, what did you get up to? What was your main sort of job? I know you mentioned your part-time job, but what did you do before
Yeah.
that?
So I wanted to. Well, I studied to be a graphic designer. In college, I then stayed in college and education probably a little bit too long. So I was there and I wanted to do everything. So I did my what do you call it? BTEC level 3 graphic design. Then I did
Yeah.
my HND design. And then I wanted to be a teacher. So I wanted to teach in uni. So I did my teaching course. And then I found out I needed to have a master's to teach in university. So then I went for my master's in graphic design, which I got a year basically through. And then I got offered the actual graphic design job. And I was at the point then where I think I was 24 or 25. And I was like, I need to actually get a job just for getting a house, progressing. And I was working with my dad, who's a builder, and I was on sites and, doing the up and down ladders, doing the hard work, the labor, which it isn't easy. I mean, I used to enjoy it, but it was tough. Obviously, working for with family as well, it's not ever easy. But I did that alongside it all the way until I got this first graphic design job, basically, which was when I think it was 24 or 25.
Amazing.
Was there a specific moment when post graphic design where you went, Pokemon's the career now? Like, where was that jump? Where was the get out of graphics design? I mean, you potentially you still are a graphic designer, but where was the jump out point?
Yeah, I've definitely retired from graphic design. I'll tell you that. So yeah, I'd worked in the graphic design studio, and I'd worked my way up from a junior all the way to, I think I was like an e-commerce designer at the time. So I was doing websites for like football teams and stuff. So any new releases, I would do all the photography and list them all on the website, and obviously other bits and bobs. Obviously, COVID hit, so they basically put everyone on furlough apart from the core staff, which I was one of them, which was not great at the time. So out of the 40 staff, I was one of the 8, I think it was, that had to keep working basically from home because I could do everything. So basically I was doing that, and it was kind of because they pissed me off a little bit. They ran us in as soon as manufacturing was allowed to go back into work because we used to put fucking logos on pens. And I was like, that's not manufacturing. But anyway, they brand me in, and there was nothing to do. I used to sit there and do nothing, and I used to just sit on eBay. And I was like, I mean, I used to buy on eBay all the time, so why not do it now while I'm doing nothing? So I'd have like Twitch open on one side with like someone playing Warzone. I'd have eBay on one screen, and then I'd have my emails open on another one. So basically, I'd just go and pick bits up, and then in the end, I started picking all right stuff up that I was making the same wage as I was from the graphic design job.
Wow.
I'm basically, I wasn't going to quit. I went to them and I was like, I want a pay rise because I was on low really for what I was doing. I was doing multiple things. It wasn't easy, like working for multi-million, billion-pound companies doing designs. And they basically said, no, you have to wait for the wage review in 6 months. And I was like, okay. I was like, well, here's my notice then. And I kind of just...
Peace out, bitches.
Yeah, I kind of just took... At the time, it was a leap because Pokemon, this was still 2021. It might have been 2020. Yeah, was it the start of 2021? Might have been the start. Pokemon wasn't a job to do. Some people were doing it, but it wasn't big. And I just kind of worked out in my head, I'd need to sell this much to cover. Luckily, obviously, we previous years, me and my partner bought a property. We had a small mortgage. Obviously, Liverpool is lovely and cheap. Didn't have any really big overheads. So as long as I could bring in X amount, I was like, I'll be fine. And obviously, I knew I could always work with my dad as much as I didn't really want to again. But I was like, he'll give me a couple of days if I'm struggling. And yeah, I just kind of took the leap and was like, yeah, let's just go for it.
Nice.
Really?
I think sometimes that's what it does take, that moment where you've just got to take that leap of faith and
Yeah.
go, look, whether I sink or swim, I've got to go for it. But how did your friends and family feel, or what did they say to you when you said, right, that's it, I'm going Pokemon full time?
I mean, it was partly my dad's fault I left because he kept pushing me, saying you'll never say anything at work and never say you're upset or never, because I didn't like confrontation really. And I just I was doing fine. I was saving up a bit of money. Like I wasn't I wasn't struggling for any means. But I just was like, screw it. Like, he's saying I should, put my foot down. And I was like, what's better to just go into something I actually really enjoy, and so does my partner. So yeah, I kind of just jumped ship and thought, I can do this. Like, as long as I just sell X amount, I had figures in my head what I was doing anyway.
Yeah.
I'll be fine. And I was like, even if it doesn't work, I've always got graphic design. I could always go and teach in colleges. I've got so much behind me still that I was like, as much as a risk, and I don't like change too much, I was like, it's a calculated one on my part anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I can resonate with that massively.
So, moving on from that, why the name Chibi Collectibles?
So it's funny, actually. We originally called All About Pokemon. When me and my partner first started, this was like selling on trade sites and stuff and doing deals with people. And if you dig really deep in YouTube, there'll be an All About Pokemon YouTube channel of us ripping all sorts of black and white vintage that we did together as a thing. And obviously back then it was a way to do trades with people. We used to do the old book cards by mail, trade cards by mail. Like, we used to do everything, and it was just a way that everyone did it back then. Again, before Instagram was really a thing. So yeah, we had that, but then I think I said to myself, I don't really want Pokemon in my name because I don't know. I just had an inkling that it wouldn't be good long term.
Yeah,
So Chibi in Japan is like really small people with big heads. And me and my partner are both. I mean, I'm 5'4"
no.
and she's 5 foot or something. So we
That's
kind of
brilliant.
just went, yeah, Chibi. And we used to watch anime together. Again, a massive thing before anime was popular. So we knew what Chibis were, and it just kind of fitted us. We're both 5 foot nothing. And collectibles, just, yeah, that's how the name came, really.
I love that, though. That's amazing.
So we're changing your name to Chibi Rich now.
I think you're not far behind, mate.
Wait, no, I'm still clinging on that 6 foot in shoes, mate.
Don't get him in sandals.
So, I mean, we've sort of covered it, but obviously, so Chibi came around 2000 and...
Like 15, really.
2015. So what did
Yeah.
Chibi look like at the beginning?
It was... I mean, when I made the Instagram, which if you scroll through all my posts, the thousands of them, you get to my first ever post, which was something 2015. It was a way for communicating to people. Chibi wasn't a business. It was just a hobby. Something that I liked to share what cards I had, to reach out to other people in a very small community at the time, by the way. I hate the community word, but at the time it was a community. Reach the people that were across seas that I would never have had the chance to speak to if it weren't from them early days of growing and talking to people. And I think what it was, gold stars were quite popular. I think from what I remember, there was a few guys that I knew were chasing the first ever PSA 10 set.
Yeah.
Right.
And I was like, well, I'll just own a raw set, and it's really cool, and not many other people own it. And that was like the start of it. And then also just a way to sell some extra things that we'd buy, or we'd rip. We have things where we rip Flashfire at release at £70 a box, and then any dupes we would sell, put it in the YouTube videos, try and sell on the Instagram to recoup, to then respend again. It was always going back into the hobby as something we enjoyed together. But yeah, the early days, there was no thought of business. It was just enjoyment. It was literal, initial steps of hobby.
Back when the hobby was pure.
Yeah, you could say that.
I think that it's quite interesting what you said about community, because we had Chef Before Trading a Whatnot streamer on last time, and he said he hated the word community as well. And I think it's fast becoming that most overused terminology to describe a group of people. And it now feels like it's kind of lost its meaning. Kind of like the word grail, but we'll get to that in a bit.
Yeah.
So fast forward back to when you've decided to go full time, right? What were you selling? Can you remember the first thing that you sold going into it full time?
So I remember taking money out of my savings, which I think was £500 at the time, and I was like, right, I'm going to go on eBay, I'm going to sit there, and I'm going to refresh eBay until something I like comes up. and I would do that, and that would be my life for the first probably 6 months. I would get stuff in, and then I would resell it and make a profit. I'd then buy more. But the first thing I can't really remember, to be honest. There's been so many transactions, but it was probably a singles collection, right? Where I bought a binder with, it might have been 200 quid. I might have sold it for 250 or something. So it wouldn't have been anything crazy because my budget wasn't crazy back then.
Yeah.
So it was just like little baby steps. And obviously I didn't want to take a load of my savings because that was my safety net at the time. So I just took what I could play with. And I grew it and I grew it. And I got to the point where I had just as much money in my savings as I did in my kind of Pokemon account kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, maybe I'm doing something all right. But yeah, I can't remember the first one. It probably would have been singles, or because I wasn't even really dealing in slabs too much back then either.
So singles was the focus. Was it collections of singles? Did you look at sealed then? Did it have the same emphasis as it does now? I mean, well, that's an obvious answer. But what did that environment look like back then?
Yeah, so I mean, it was there, but I wasn't really a part of it. I was very singles heavy, because it was affordable, and I'm not saying like I had an advantage over other people, but I was very good at working out numbers from looking at something. I knew all the prices of a lot of stuff, and I knew that from the years previous of doing basically the same thing just to grow the collection rather than use it as a business. So basically, when I would sit there, and I'd refresh newly listed probably like 1,000 times a day until a collection that come up that caught my eye. Back in 2014, 15, I could do this and I'd buy maybe 2 or 3 collections a day, but they weren't expensive. But in today's market, they're multiple tens of thousands. So I just did the same thing, and just refreshed until something come up that I sniped it, basically, is the easiest way to put it. But yeah, slabs didn't really become a thing until the business started taking off a bit more. Sealed hasn't been really a part of the business until probably like 18 months ago. So it'd been singles majority, like from the start till probably halfway through having the business.
That's interesting. Very interesting indeed.
What was your biggest risk? Like, because a lot of people now, like, there's a new card shop every other day. Like, there's a Whatnot streamer opening a card shop. There's, a professional darts player vending at a show, or, an MMA fighter, whatever. Like, what would you say was your biggest risk when taking this full time? Like, back then to now?
I think it was a risk of just failure. I hated failing at stuff. I mean, I was slightly lucky because we'd built quite a large personal collection going into this. So I always knew that if I really needed to, I could take some bits to keep this going. But yeah, I think just failing and being like, I mean, I used to have nightmares of going back into that workplace and being like, oh, can I have my job back kind of vibe, or trying to find another job. Because I'll be honest, I applied for 3 jobs, I'd interviewed one and got the job. And apart from that, I'd never interviewed for another job before. So it was more the fact that I just didn't want to fail. It would set me back in terms of like life progression as well. I'd invested so much into it. I was on a steady career path, you could say, anyway. That wasn't doing me terribly, but yeah, I feel like the risk of doing it and taking that initial step was quite big, because I mean, you asked earlier about what my family and friends thought. Family didn't know what I was doing. Obviously, I've done it before in my life where I've been doing something, someone's really pissed me off, and I've gone, yeah, screw this, I ain't doing it anymore, and just walked off. Done it with my dad a couple of times, did it at a job site, and I just hit my level of, why am I dealing with this shit? I don't need to. And kind of left the other job. So it was more the fact that if I didn't want to go crawling back, if that made sense, I was like, I've got to make this good kind of thing. And there was a lot of, not loads relying on it, but there was quite a bit relying on it, like even family progression, everything, just building a stable life and everything. It's not easy. So yeah, it's probably the biggest risk. I don't take too many risks on cards as such. They're all calculated risks, and some pay off, some don't. We've done really well on some really good stuff, and I've also lost. I'm not the first person. I'm definitely made some mistakes that I shouldn't have done. But it comes with learning, it's growth. No one's perfect, right? Like I used to think I was perfect at buying collections. I never get anything wrong. And then I had a massive realization at Worlds 2022 when I had a bit more money than I'd ever had. And I just bought the completely wrong collection because it was thrown at me. And I was like, oh shit, like this is not great. Like I spent, bear in mind this is 2022.
Yeah.
No one was really like huge in the scene. I mean, I spent 18 grand in that event. And one of them was a $3,000 collection, and it was, I thought it was something it wasn't. It was terrible, and I probably just made my money back on that, if not lost a little. And it put a lot of pressure on me because I went from having a decent amount in my bank and being like, I can buy anything, to like, oh shit, I need to sell now because I've got no capital again. So yeah, it's a realism, but that happens wherever, however big you grow. I think it's never enough. It literally is never enough. Like you always need capital and you always need to balance the stock to capital ratio and stuff. But yeah, we'll probably go into that a bit later on.
Out of interest, what was the set you bought?
It was a mix of like Watsy mid-era stuff. But because it was, I mean, this is before the XL, I mean, maybe it was Pokemon, would kick you out from trading. So everyone would set up vending kind of thing in the trade areas. And someone walked over with a collection. I think he was French. I know the guy. He's a nice guy. We've done other deals since. But I think he came over with the binder. And obviously I was a bit new to it. And, you know, I was with Harry from Card House. And he was buying stuff. And I was like, I need to get onto this. So I bought this binder. And the conditions just weren't what I thought they were. And I was like, after I priced it all out, I think I was down like 300 quid. It was just lucky that I bought another collection alongside it. And I did really well on that one. So it kind of balanced it. But like, it was a lot of singles and a lot of work for not much return.
So what's the hardest part of taking a passion and making it a livelihood?
Well, for me, it was using money, because I'd always been someone who, you know, I'd got money and I'd save it. And it took me quite a while to get out of this habit of actually spending the money. I'd be scared to spend it at times. Like, it'd have to be the most perfect deal in the world for me to spend the money. So I knew I wasn't losing. Obviously, I had to start breaking that cycle, because after X amount of years, I had to take them risks. If I didn't risk, I wouldn't get the reward. So that was probably, for me, the hardest thing. It took me, I'd say, at least 18 months to feel comfortable. But even then, and even now, you know, it's just the numbers have got bigger now. I do a 100k deal. I'm second guessing what I've done. I'm like, is this really what I should be doing? Is this really what I should be spending my money on? And luckily, most things have worked out. There's been a few that haven't, but on a grand scheme of things, I've done all right. But yeah, for me, it was that getting over that using money. I went from, you know, I'd literally go charity shop buy-in on a Sunday with my missus and go and get some Hollister t-shirts for 8 quid and be like, oh, this is great. To like spending 500-600 quid on collections and being like, yeah, what am I doing here? Like, is this, where's my money disappearing to? And then obviously you've got to recoup it by selling, and even the aspect of, you know, I hope I get some sales on the eBay, or I hope some people on Discord buy some stuff. It's a little stressful at the time.
I'm exactly at that point now where I'm looking at buying things, and because I repair and restore and things like that. So I look at it maybe from a slightly different angle. I'm like, right, I could buy that, crack that, improve it, regrade it, and then sell it on. But I'm so tentative in regards to what I buy, because I'm like, well, what can I do with that? Is that worth doing that into? Then your data analysis as to how well that card will do if you can get it to the grade bump. So I'm exactly at that point where I'm like, do I spend this money or do I just leave it in the business account?
Yeah,
I'll just leave it there for now.
Yeah, I think that's the toughest part, you know, because I mean, I like money like the next guy, and I like looking at it in my bank account.
We love money.
Yeah, I like looking at it and going, you know, I've got this in the bank now. I would never have dreamed of having this just sat in my bank account. But at the same time now, hey, if you ain't spending it, you ain't making any money at the minute, and it's a market where you should be spending. So even now, I'm like, I said to my business partner, I was like, probably should spend some money, you know, because we have a lot in the bank. It's not doing anything, even if it's a bit risky. Like, what else are we gonna do? There's no interest. It's just sitting there, right? And you know, we're talking hundreds of thousands, and I'm like, it's just sat there doing nothing. So we need to spend it. We need to take some risks and hope that the market does well. Obviously, we've made plays in the past on stuff, and they're all just in the background. But yeah, it is tough. Honestly, it's tough even for me now. It's so hard.
Yeah,
That's dangerous. I don't know what hope I've got.
Just to see 6 figures in the account, Rich, would be nice.
I'll just say 3 figures, to be honest here.
Enough to buy 2 Freddos, not just one. So Sam, what if you could go back to 2015 with all the knowledge you've got now? What is it you would say that you would desperately wish you knew back then that you knew now?
Buy 2 of everything. If I bought two of everything, and I mean, I've owned a lot of stuff and I've sold a lot of stuff, but even back then, if I'd owned 2 and just had a bit more money, and we're not talking thousands, we're talking about, I wasn't on £40 a day, I was on £60 a day or whatever, I would probably be very retired by now. But I couldn't afford it. I was working with what I could. I would upgrade when I had to upgrade. And there was the same thing where I still need money in my account. I needed to buy shopping. We needed to do the garden up, so I'd have to sell some bits. Like, I think, just buy 2 of everything and know that you're going to sell one to fund something and then have the other one as like your gravy. But yeah, that's a tough lesson. I've learned them lessons and I'm still learning them today. I'll tell you that for nothing.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong. I mean, to be honest, the Pokemon Center sort of forces that rule of thumb now anyway. True. With, you get 2 Pokemon Center ETBs and most people rip one or sell one, keep one. So we're sort of there. And then I would say, this has happened to me, so it is a very poignant question, but is there a point where turning your hobby into a business actually kills the enjoyment?
Yes and no. I don't enjoy it when I've got to do my VAT returns. And I got to do it. I don't enjoy it when my accountant rings me up and says, you owe this much this month. And he's like, you should. I was like, oh God, really? Like, I'm just giving the government more money, which I already give them quite a lot as it is. But no, I still find it enjoyable. It's just got to the stage where maybe not collecting isn't as enjoyable because I've collected a lot of things that I ever wanted. My bucket list for stuff now is unobtainable for myself unless I wanted to take massive risks, because I don't. I've owned every gold star. I've owned every crystal. I've owned cards worth 6 figures. I've sold them. Every card I want now is, my business partner, we were like, should we buy an illustrator? We've never owned an illustrator before. It's like, why? We're just buying stuff because we haven't owned it. I wish 18 months ago I'd bought a snap card because I was bidding on one. I fell asleep. It ended and I was I think the second highest bidder. They just sold last night on Goldin for absolutely ridiculous money.
Is that the Chansey?
All of them. All of them.
Oh shit!
Yeah, I was bidding on Articuno 18 months ago at 40,000, and I think got to 45, and it sold for 46. I think it just sold for like 200k or something last night.
Oh no!
Yeah, so it's like stuff like that where, the stuff I want now is unattainable unless I just don't care about anything. I'm just gonna buy 6 cards and that's it. I'm done, which I don't want to do, and I also don't want to risk because the market can also just shit the bed, which I'm not comfortable. Like, if you ask me to go and spend 200k on a card and it's like, this is for your PC, I'd be like, you're fucking crazy. I'd rather use it in real life stuff. I'd rather put it towards a bigger house or, treat my missus, or obviously that's a lot to treat my missus with, but, just stuff outside of Pokemon. I just don't see the balance anymore. Like I used to when it was, £1,000 or even 10,000 at a push. Now it's just everything I want, 6 figures or mid 5 figures. And I'm like, what I'm going to do, look at it and then stick it in my safe and take it out every couple of months. I just got to the point now where everything I actually want, if I don't already own it, it's just, it just doesn't make sense now.
But it become a point where if you bought something of that particular level, if we look at what happened with the illustrator, so something that Logan did, would you be buying something like that to then see that appreciate as an alternative asset to then just go, well, I'm going to sell it now and then just move it on, and that means you're sinking a lot of cash into it, aren't you? Yeah,
potentially. I mean, a lot of stuff is always now business orientated. Some of it still isn't, but a lot of it still is like, I might be buying this. It is really PC because I have a separate PC which is mid 6 figures, separate to my business, but. Yeah, I don't know if I could spend that much. I know the business would suffer just to sit in my PC and then obviously hope that in 2 years, 5 years, it's doubled. Because also with that, say 400k, I could just keep turning it over and it's safe then. And I know I'm not really
Yep.
risking as much as like dumping it all into one thing. And it, when you're dealing with 6-figure cards, they drop 10%. That's quite a lot of money to lose instantly. So it's also that, in my mindset as well. So it's tough, but like I still own really nice stuff, and I've worked my way to own them. And it's not the point. I'm not really a person who sells their PC too often, unless it means something in real life now. I wouldn't sell it just like, I'm just going to stick more money in the business, because I don't really need the money in the business. But if I'm going to buy a new house, or we need a new car, or we want to go on holiday, I might then think of selling a PC item. But apart from that, no.
Love that. If I sell any of my PC at the moment, that might bite me a third Freddo. So we're gonna jump into one of my favourite parts of the show, which is a quick fire round. So I'm going to run through this or that, no explanation.
Okay.
We're gonna speed run it. All right.
Right.
Are you ready?
Go.
Vintage or modern?
Vintage.
English or Japanese?
English.
Raw or graded? PSA or CGC?
PSA.
Favorite Pokemon?
Mew.
Most overrated Pokemon?
Charizard.
Most underrated Pokemon?
Mewtwo.
Favorite Watsy set?
Neo Destiny.
Favorite modern set?
What's modern?
2015 onwards. Say that range.
Team Up.
Nice. Favorite artwork?
The Mew EX Play promo, the Japanese one, 7,000 points, I think it is. It's like not the original Bubble Mew, but it's Bubble Mew.
Snap Bubble, basically.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, I always used to call it Space Mew, but no one calls it that, so...
I think that could take off. No pun intended. One card you would never sell?
This is tough as well. The Charizard, the base set one from my map.
Yeah. One card you wish you'd bought earlier?
Space Art Academy Pikachu.
Nice. Best bargain you've ever bought?
In comparison to the times, probably the Fushiyama Raincoat Pikachu. Art Academy.
Worst purchase you've ever made?
And my partner's going to hate me for this because we stopped talking about it, but Japanese Sun and Moon Lily in the waifu boom.
Biggest Pokemon regret?
I have two. Selling my Gold Star PSA 10 Mew and selling the Umbreon and Espeon Gold Stars my missus and my mum bought me for Christmas. That both got sequential PSA 9s.
Most you've ever spent on one card?
104,000.
Lucky Charlie. And then, most you've ever lost on a deal?
I mean, it's probably the Lily again. But there wasn't that much. I mean, it was probably like £3,000 in the end.
That's quite a fair amount, I think. Now,
yeah.
More of an elaborate question for you.
Yeah.
If I gave you £10,000 tonight and said you have to buy Pokemon cards with it, what are you buying?
I get asked all this question all the time from people. I actually don't know. I had this conversation with my partner last night, and we have no idea what we're doing anymore and what we're buying or what we're doing. I don't know. I honestly don't know. 10 grand. I reckon I actually don't know. Buy an art academy that's under 10k. It's going to double. Don't worry about it.
There we go.
And if we just reverse engineer it quickly, what wouldn't you buy? What would you stay away from right now?
What wouldn't I buy? Like overpopulated high-end Japanese PSA 10s.
Okay.
Them things are the hotcakes. They're going to explode soon.
Okay, amazing. Right, that is it. You've got through that section unscathed.
Yay.
All right, there's another one coming. Oh, right. So as we move into what we would call the art of buying, as someone that's been in this now for 15 years, you've probably seen more Pokemon collections come through your hands than 99% of the people that have popped into the hobby in the last 5 years in the most recent boom period. What does an experienced buyer like you or your business partner see that an ordinary collector doesn't when buying?
I think if it's a single collection, I think more for me, because I have my website now which stocks all my singles. I think it's just how long it takes to actually sell through them singles. We'll go into shows and stuff, but I've stopped doing shows really now. I was one of the first people to do shows. First ever Cardiff show, used to do LCSs. I don't really do shows anymore, mainly because there's so many people there, and yeah, I just don't really like the vibe. It's not like how it used to be, but anyway. So
Yeah.
singles now, if I look at them, I just look at how quick they're on my website. What do I need? As in, like, what's low in stock? And if I was going onto a website, what would I look to buy, or look to like see what inventory they've got and how impressed I would be. And then on the other flip side, with like the slabs and higher end, it's really the risk tolerance, I think, on a lot of stuff. How happy are we to sit on something at the percent we pay and wait to sell it at 100% or 95% or 92%, and the margin we have? I mean, it's difficult because we've been on a boom and everything we've held has done really well in the last, I'd say, like 12 months. So it's a bit different. If you'd asked me when there wasn't the boom, I would say everything at a percentage, but everyone's so competitive now. 90%, 92%, 100%. I just don't, I can't, I mean, I can't compete, and I don't really want to compete. There's a guy on YouTube who deals in sports called Chasing Cardboard, and singles wise, he pays like 60% because he knows that most of the stuff he buys ain't going to sell instantly. It's not instant liquidity for it. And I'm like, we just don't have that. Obviously, I buy everything, like bulks, commons, uncommons, the lot. So
Yeah.
it's a bit different. I'm not talking about just hits and stuff. But he is right. I've got, I mean, behind me, you can see, this is some of my website inventory. There's 30,000 cards on my website.
Jeez.
I don't sell I don't sell through them that quick, and it takes the right person to find it, find my website, find the card they want. So it's not instant liquidity. I'm just at a point now where I'm happy to sit on 6 figures of inventory and just wait until someone goes, oh, I want that card, or I want this card, and it's on my website. Obviously at the start it's different because you need to get stuff and move it and grow. But yeah, it's so tough now. It ain't easy I don't know why you'd start a Pokemon business buying and selling today. I just feel like people look at it and go, this is easy money. But all you're doing is everyone's buying off the same collectors at a percentage, and then they're just flipping to vendor friends, and then them vendor friends are cashing out to another vendor friend, and ultimately it all goes to the rip packs, and then it goes to the public, and then they sell it 70%, and it's just a cycle. It's easy to see, but some people play it like they're geniuses, but it isn't really. You just buy a percent, sell a percent, make your margin, move on, kind of thing.
Hit the nail on the head there, to be fair. Literally, some stuff's passed around more than a blunt. So, honestly, so obviously everyone values a collection differently. Everyone is entitled to value a collection differently, but without giving away your trade secrets, how do you? So someone comes to you or messages your website and goes, "I have this." How do you value it? Are you I mean, you sort of self-explained it anyway, but are you looking for like the higher end stuff first to go, and then your values in the other bits, or? Yeah,
I think so. Usually, what I do is a bit different in the past, but usually, obviously, I'm pretty well known in the space. I'm very trusted. I deal with 7 figures of cards yearly. I'm not going to run away with your £1,000 single collection, like yeah. But usually, I get people to send in the collections to me, and I'll basically say, I'll add all these if they're going on my website, and I'll price them accordingly, and I'll just pay you a flat percentage. Obviously, based on condition, based on if I really want it, based on how many commons, uncommons, how long is it going to sell on the site. It's just a lot of work to get 1,000 cards. I've got to get them, scan them. I've got to then price them, condition them, add them to my website, and then I've got to sell them. So it's not as easy as, like, obviously, again, I don't do shows now, so I understand people getting it, sticking it in a case, it sells the next week, that's great. But my model isn't that anymore. So usually that's how it works for me. And then slabs is a bit different. Obviously, people will send me a list through, and I'll sit there and I'll price. And usually what I'll say is I can usually pay this percent, which at the minute, all transparent, is anywhere from like 82 to like 88% usually, unless I really want something. And I'll just price, and I won't price off the highest comp. I'll probably average it, because I don't know how many times I've been stung on buying the last comp and paid 85%, and then the next comp's 10% lower, and I'm like, right, okay. And then what a lot of people in the UK seem to not do, which I do quite often, I mean, there's a few people probably do it. If I get a card in that doesn't sell within a month, it goes to auction, and then I have to eat the fees, which usually is 93%. So even if I paid 85, I might make 8% if it's sold at the value I thought originally, which sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. But I'm okay to take that risk now, just to get the capital back in and be like, right, it didn't work, move on.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's kind of like that at the minute. Otherwise, I'd literally offer people, consign with me through Goldin. If you don't want 82%, I can give you 88% or 90%. And some people do that, and it's great. And I'll make a small cut and risk no money, which is also great. But yeah, I just can't compete with people in shows paying 90%, 95%. I can't. I haven't got a whatnot to. I mean, over
Yeah.
shill something to someone, or I haven't got. Yeah, I just don't have that. I just want people to go onto my website or buy from me at close to market as possible and feel like they got a good deal, because then people come back again. I don't want to just have someone's pants down and be like, "Oh, that was great." Just don't. It's not how I got into the hobby, and it's never how I'll act in the hobby.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I think that's it's a really strong line to take, and I think that's the moral code kind of pulls us back and goes, right, now we don't want to stitch others up, and I think that's the right way to.
Yeah.
You don't strike me as the person that would say you're cooking me, chat, Sam. So
Yeah, definitely not.
Oh, so how much does condition influence your offer? So obviously, what's your breakdown when it comes to, like, obviously you have a grail come in. An example is someone today came into my store with a Gold Star Umbreon, the OG one, crease across it, and I'm looking at it going, it's still valuable, but how would that affect you?
So I would just go, what would it, I mean, people don't do this. I mean, some people do it, but I do it a lot. I'll just look, what does it grade at? Because I've got to grade it to sell it. So I'd literally go, it's got a crease, it's probably a 1, probably not going to get a 2, obviously, depending on how bad it was. And then I'd offer percentage, but then I would also take away my time, my grading fee, because I'm like, well, you can go and send it off to grading if you want, and you can do whatever you want with it. But as a business owner, I've got to spend the money. I've got to wait, and it's capital that I could spend on something else while I'm waiting. And obviously, the Umbreon ain't cheap. I reckon in a 1, what is it, like 8,000 or something stupid?
Yeah, something like that. I think it's 5 to 8 at the moment, if depending on the day.
Yeah, I bought my 9. I mean, I sold my 9 for less than that, but I bought my raw one for 120 quid and I got a 9. So like that says where the market is, doesn't it?
That's mad.
Yeah. But I like near mint stuff for my website. Originally, my website was always going to be near mint only, or light play on some stuff, but near mint. But then I bought in collections that had some played. I actually found that if I priced them pretty fair, people actually want to buy them just for placeholders, or maybe they want to just complete a set and have, mixed conditions and upgrade them over time. So, I mean, I'm not as harsh. The hardest thing is, I mean, you probably know everyone in the store, but what's the conditions from being heavy play to being near mint, to try and comp that in a reasonable time is a nightmare. And I hate it unless I'm sat on my couch and I've got, I don't know, something on in the background and I'm like, right, I can just chill and take my time. If I'm doing it at a show, which I used to do, I'd be like, oh God, like it's so hard to condition it.
Stress.
And I've had times when I've bought stuff and then I've got home and it's had a ding in it or had a dent or it's been creased and I'm like, fuck's sake, like I should just took the time, but I didn't because I'm busy. I've got 2 staff talking to me. I've got another guy. It's tough, right?
Yeah. Oh, yes.
100%. We sat there the other day, didn't we, Dan? And just we were sort of
through a binder of WotC all the way through to Midvid, including a Gold Star Mewtwo, which was again my first time seeing one outside of a cabinet. So I was like, oh,
right. The Gold Stars raw they're crazy. I mean, I graded mine just to get the value out of them, and obviously it helped the business a lot when I sold them. So just funny story on that. The Gold Stars I bought for 1,200 quid, I sold for 20. Was it 23? I think it's 23,500 after they're graded. But in today's market, it's probably close to like 100k of cards.
Wow.
And that was probably 2022, 2023 maybe.
It's crazy how many Gold Star rushes there's been though since like post-COVID. It's mental. Every like 6 months.
Yeah, there's been a lot. But then I always say the Gold Stars are the pinnacle, I think, of collecting in the EX era. And I'm like, to own, knowing how rare they are, our boxes, obviously, people played with them back in the day. I know, like I think there was a Latias or Latios was really playable in one of the decks back then. Even to find them is super hard, and then to grade them in tens. I knew a friend back in the day, who is out of the hobby now, called Bulbasaur or Bulbasaur. I think it was Bulbasaur. He graded 2 of the Torchics that got tens, and 2 Charizards that got tens, and he decided to sell them. I think the Torchic was like $3,500 or something back then, and I think the Charizard was half of that, and he decided to keep his 9s. And I think the reason he left the hobby more was because he knew he'd graded some, and then the values they were even a year ago before he left. So like there are other stories that I look at and go, yeah, you had it definitely worse than I did. But yeah, it's so tough keeping anything raw like that now, because everybody wants a grade on it, which is difficult.
Yeah, you're not wrong. And you're right. The first thing I look at Gold Star is the grading range. Like I have to, because I'll buy it graded and I'll buy it raw, but I'm looking at that, which value works for the grading range I think it will hit.
Just
You've got
makes them
to,
super
'cause it's
desirable.
Yeah, it's too much money now just to go, oh, it's raw near mint, but you send it in and gets a 5. It's much different than getting an 8. So you've got to, like, if you don't do that as a business owner, you're taking too many risks, which I know people at shows where I've offered on stuff, and then the person has gone to someone else who've offered more than me and then come over and been like, oh yeah, you based it off 8 prices. And I'm like, it was a 6 at best. I think people in shows buying now get FOMO with, like, they don't want to lose a deal, so they just offer whatever they want just to be like, oh, look what I bought on Instagram. But realistically, they cooked themselves a little bit because they overpaid. And I just don't want to compete, and I don't need to compete with people like that or vendors like that or businesses like that anymore.
No, that's fair. How do you determine what is generally desirable in the modern hobby now, though?
It's tough. I mean, if anyone looks at my website, I've got singles from every single era, from every single set from day one. There's bits for everything, so I don't mind buying anything and everything, because all I see is it's stocking maybe in an area that I've got less of stuff. So if you offered me a binder that was mixed, I'd probably take everything that wasn't, obviously, like damage commons I'm not going to do anything with, but damage hollows, okay, I can do something with it. But yeah, buying wise, outside the collections and graded, I don't really know. Like I said, me and my business partner spoke about this yesterday. We've been in the game for ages, and we both said, what the hell are we doing and what are we buying? And I don't know. We both said to each other, we feel like small fish in a massive pond, because we look in America as well, and it just puts stuff into like realization where, we do okay in the UK, and people probably see stuff we get in all the time and be like, how did they get that, or where did that come from? A lot of it connection based, but yeah, we both, I mean, we can spend upwards of, I don't know, 400, 500k and be fine, which is huge in the UK, really, in terms of spending on Pokemon.
Oh yeah,
you take that to the US, you are a drop in the ocean there, and it's like
you're battling a kid with a chest bag on.
It's completely different. And obviously, as I've grown through the hobby and had more capital and owned more stuff and whatever, I've always felt like I'm doing all right here. And then you go to America and you see what people own, and you're like, yeah, I'm reaching here, like I'm nobody, which is a good kind of brings you back down to reality, I guess. But yeah, it's one of them.
So when it comes to doing deals, where you're negotiating with people overseas or people in the UK, and there isn't many comparable sales, let's say eBay last solds.
Yeah.
Well, how do you come to a conclusion on what a price is? Do you have to? How do you bring it together?
Yeah, it's tough. So like graded wise, usually that stuff I'd go, I'm either going to pay really low to make sure I've got enough space. Just an example, right? Because this just happened and it's my memory, and I mean, my business partner doesn't know, but he hopefully doesn't watch this, so he won't find out. The Shaman full art from Roaring Skies, full art in a PSA 10, it jumped from something like $2,000 to $4,500. I valued it at like 4 at a percentage in a big 6-figure deal, and it then sold for $3,500. It then sold for $2,500 the next 2 comps. So instantly I'm in the red. And sometimes now in the back of my head, it says, don't chase the deal. Just take the good deals that you feel comfortable on. So a lot of stuff now like that where there's no comps or whatever, I usually don't risk unless I'm confident in the card or some comparable information in another card that's in the same set or something. I just don't see the point. I've earned this money and, it's been hard getting it. I don't know why I should risk it now just to help someone else out. Obviously, this was part of a huge deal, so had some upside on other stuff and whatever, where I knew, worst case, I might have lost $2,000 here, but in another deal we've made $2,000, so, it's not great, but it isn't the end of the world. But if someone's like, I've got this card, there's one comp, it's 10k, but the comp before that was free, I want 90%, I'm just like, yeah, I'm passing at that. I was like, I'll average it, and I'll pay you a strong percent, but I ain't taking it to the last highest comp, because they could have just bought it and pumped it or asked their friend to buy it and they're not paid for it yet. It's too risky now with that volume or amount of money to be like, oh, that comp is the gospel, I'm taking that comp. Because what you happen to see is 2 weeks later, the comp's disappeared and you're fucked. So
yeah, definitely. So if that's... So do you ever look at US sales? Because I know that you touched on the Goldin, which we'll come on to, but do you pull US data if you need it?
I am a worldwide business. I'm not a UK business. And I hate this phrase of UK-US market. I buy based off US market or international market, and I sell based off international market. I never go, oh, what's this card doing in the UK? And then I have to cross-reference with the US. And I literally, if I don't sell something, like I said earlier, it will just go to the US auction houses anyway. So I'm not going to overpay on something. Like someone else can do that, sure, but I don't need to. So I just usually use Alt, or I was using Card Ladder, but it confused me a bit. So I've been using Alt for years, so I just use Alt for slabs anyway. And then maybe if I can't find anything, I'll cross-reference PSA or see something on a different, like 130 point. But yeah, I just... it's not easy. I said it's just not easy anymore.
So are eBay last sold your friend?
On singles, yes. On slabs, probably not so much.
Okay.
The UK market, as we all know, always tends to do better because the scarcity. It's always been that way. Before Alt was a thing, before you could check comps, I would buy stuff all the time on eBay and flip it on eBay, and no one would know the wiser because there was no way to. You had to back search for multiple pages. It was much easier back then. Now that all you need to do is pick up your phone, take a picture, and it tells you all your comps. It's very difficult now to hide a sale, or that's why manipulation comes in, shilling comes in, because people need to produce these high sales, or they're in deep on a card and they need to show something of it, and they'll just take. I've done it myself on a card that I've been like, I own 2 of these. I'll buy the next one for X amount. It doesn't matter, and that's how it works. And in the US, that's such a common thing where people just, I don't care. Buying it for this much, I'll own another copy. If it goes above that, fantastic. It's just like a common thing now. I think that happens.
I need to open my mind to what's going on over in the US.
Yeah,
the
US
focused on the UK.
Yeah, the UK is a drop in the ocean. We go back to people doing collecticons and stuff. I was one of the first people doing collecticons with Chloe and Harry and Dean back in literal early 2023. I think my first one, 2023. And it was we'd be the only English people there. No one would fly over. And we would do deals and it'd be fantastic. And then it steadily grew, and there's a few videos with me and Randy walking around cons when he first got back into Pokemon. I was showing him the ropes back then, and then more people come over, and now it's just like a standard thing of people buying the UK. Their inventory won't sell quick enough because there's not as many people in the UK with capital to go to a show and drop 10k on slabs. So they'll just fly to the US, they'll get out of it at 90%, get the cash, spend it on something else, bring it back, rinse and repeat. But I've been to the US in 13 months now, because last time I went, it was just mostly English people, and the enjoyment they go in there and, meeting US buddies, sitting down, having a meal. And then, there's 2 more English people there. They want to be invited to everything. They want to basically get involved in your community. Fucking community. Your connections. Yeah, your connection of people.
Yeah, your circle.
That you've built. Yeah, you've built the time and spent the money and everything before it was easy to do, which again, kind of winds me up a little bit because,
Yeah.
I mean, if you go back and look at Chloe's Collecticon videos 4 years ago, it's usually just 3 of us walking around, just talking to people, and it'd be great. And now every man and his dog's doing coin flips and cashing out and Mr. Big Wig. It's like, fucking, right, okay, sick.
Riding the coattails of the Trailblazers from 2023.
Yeah. Yeah, been it, done it, got t-shirt, adding off.
Oh man. So how much margin do you need before buying stock? Like for yourself? Like where do you sit?
It's hard. So single wise, depending on the collection. So if it's really nice, I'll pay 85% on singles because again, I've got to take the time to scan them, put it on my website, blah blah blah. It takes time. If it's like bulky stuff, I'm usually at 70%. If I know if it's going to sit for a while, it's commons from platinum or whatever. They're not going to sell. Not every day jumps on and goes, I want that Mareep or something that's £2.50. Like, it just doesn't work. Slabs, I mean, I'd love to go back to buying at 80% and that being the norm. As a business, if you really break it down, even if you make 20% margin, which you don't, to be honest,
No.
I'm going to hardly ever make the full 20%. But let's say you make 20%. Let's say you sell it in the UK, you're then going to pay VAT on it. So you've just lost 17% of your profit or whatever it is on the margin scheme.
Yep.
And then you've got to pay the government your corporation at the end of the year, which is whatever it is. Next thing you know, you've lost 10%, and you're like, well, I've done all this work, and what? I made 10% on a risk of a multi-thousand-pound card, which is something I also feel like kind of pissed me off with the scene. There's so many people doing it not as a business, not as a VAT-registered business, not as legit, that they could pay 90% in cash and then sell it to someone. That's fine. I just can't do it. I've got overheads. I've got bills to pay. I've got the VAT man after me. I've got accountant to pay. Like, there's so much more involved than just, oh, you're buying at 80%. You're making loads of money. I'm not really, to be honest, once it's broken down. And then again, if I don't sell it within a certain time, it goes to the US, I get 92%. And it's even smaller margin. So yeah, it's definitely not ideal. I used to love it when it was 75 to 80% was the norm. Now it's like 88 to 90% is the norm, which is madness.
That's crept up a lot, hasn't it?
It's huge.
Then I suppose when you look at the sheer amount of people that are trying to do the same thing, it's just flooded. It's totally flooded.
The competition. I'd hate to go back to where I was 2.5 years ago and be in the same competitive space as everyone else now. I just don't think I could do it because it's so competitive and people will just screw you over to get a deal. I'm just lucky now that I've got to the point where, I don't need to get that single card for 2,000. I'll wait till £100,000 collection comes along where I'm one of the few people in the UK with the capital to utilise it, which then works in my favour because, again, I just don't want to compete with everyone else. I've done that, getting to the stage I'm at now. So it's nice now to be like, well, if I don't buy anything for a week, 2 weeks, a month, it's not the end of the world. A collection will come along where, hey, I've got 100K's worth of stuff. No one's going to buy it because they've not got the capital. I'm here. I'll cash you out. I've got it in the bank right now. So it's fine.
Yeah, definitely.
So what would you say the difference is between a card being worth £1,000, but then being able to sell it for £1,000?
It's very difficult. I mean, for years, I didn't like sending stuff to auction because I was like, I've got to get that full margin out of it. And quickly I understood that that's not how this works if you want to progress fast and well. Usually I'm already, when I said like an average comp, so say there's a last high comp, so there's let's say a £2,000 card. So there's a £2,000 last comp before that was 1,500. I'd probably price it 1,800 and then take a percentage. I would then price it at 2K and I'd probably try and sell it for 2 or 3 weeks and hope that there's not another comp that's dropped it down or whatever. Obviously, I don't use eBay anymore and my website isn't very good for high-end stuff. So on my Instagram, if I don't get any hits or my business partner doesn't get any hits and we don't want to keep the card, we've got to move it on. And that's where auction fees come in. So I consign, obviously, with Goldin. I also consign with Z&G in America. And they'll pay me out 92, 93%. So usually, you never really get 100% unless someone really wants it for their PC or they want to take the risk and invest in it. which, some people do that, but it's like nigh on impossible now to get 100% on, I find anyway.
I don't want to jump the gun on questions, but in regards to Goldin, do they buy in at a certain level? Like, does it have to be a minimum figure of value of what it's worth for them to take it?
When I signed on with Goldin, due to eBay recommending me back in the, I don't know, 18 months ago, they basically said anything under $100 that sells, there'll just be a $5 charge on it. So it doesn't help if you give me something that sells for $50 because you're going to lose 10% straight away.
Yeah.
And then I take my fee and the fee's lower. I mean, for Goldin, I always recommend if you're going to give me stuff for Goldin, it's got to be really 4 figures and higher. So like, for example, last night, funny enough, we sold a first edition Shining Gyarados on Goldin, which sold for 73,500, I think it was.
Wow.
Nice.
So we got offered that to buy. I think the guy wanted 60 something out of it, and we were like, there's no comps at the time. So he was like, I'll give it to auction. I paid a really high percentage just to get it. I think we're making a couple of percent after fees and everything. But he's done really well. He should be happy with it because the copy wasn't the nicest copy in the world. And he's going to receive more than he wanted anyway originally, which I think was 62 or 65 or something. And we made a bit and no one took any risk to a degree.
Yes.
So that's usually what I'd recommend. I've done some mad stuff, especially when the Japanese market started moving up. There was stuff that people were giving me that were worth 1,000. Time they hit auction, they sold for like 2, 3, 4. And then the funniest one came from Card House, where I think Card House paid comps, which was something like $1,500 on a set of 3 cards, and it sold for 23,500 because the market jumped up and someone just really wanted that trio set. So
Wow.
it's like timing's always helped with Goldin, and they've always been dead easy to work with. And also, as much as people don't like Ken or don't like the Logan connection, they do really well to promote themselves, and they have sold some absolute high end. They are the place to go. That and Heritage for high end. I can't recommend anyone else. Fanatics is good for more. I mean, say
Sports,
more
really.
like, yeah, it does. Fanatics good for Pokemon, but not to the extreme or not to the highest level like Goldin or Heritage is. Obviously, a massive block ended. I think it was like one of the elite auctions that had an illustrator, had 6 snap cards, it had trophy cards, everything. Like my Gyarados was way down the pecking order. It wasn't even relevant in the scale of what was being sold last night. But it just shows like there's a big reach. And what I like with Goldin is I've consigned probably like 1,000 items and probably 2 have only never been paid for, because you have to show so much to get a Goldin account. You have to show your net worth, your value, what you've got in liquid, what properties you own, because they don't want people jumping on and shill bidding the shit out of stuff and no one paying.
Yeah, of
So
course.
it's not easy to get any kind of bidding power unless you have money with Goldin, which is what I really like, because I don't get messed around either, and I don't mess my consigners around.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I like that.
So, what's the biggest misconception collectors have about what the collection is worth?
I mean, I say misconception, but everyone uses collector, right? And I have nothing against collector, but collector's like a mix of like most of the US prices. Some people don't put the conditions in accurately. So then it's then difficult. I've dealt with one recently where it's all been slabs and he's had it all in collector. When I've actually comped it properly, it's always like 5 to 10% lower. So then trying to explain to someone that, it says X amount, but it's actually 5, 10% lower, then I'll take my percentage. They're always like, well, you're taking a massive percent, but I'm not. It's just the app always shows higher than, on some stuff, then I'd be willing to value something at. Like, it's great taking, again, the last sale, but I'd never put anything at really the last sale. It's so difficult. But yeah, conditions on raw stuff. Like, again, I only really like buying raw stuff if I can get it in hand, or if I take the risk and I know I'm fine. Because I've bought stuff on eBay before in collections and it's been absolutely terrible when it's arrived and I've gone, oh well, I took the risk, it didn't work. I've also bought stuff where I've gone, well, this is fantastic. It's literally near mint everything, and I didn't think it was going to be. And I've done really well off it. So it kind of balances, but I'd say, yeah, just conditions and just what apps usually show you can be a little bit off. Just don't always take it for gospel.
Yeah. No, that's fair. And what would you say is your reaction? Give me what's your 2 reactions if someone walks up to you and goes, I've got a collection worth 20k versus a collection worth like 150k.
I mean, 20k, I usually go, what is it? And what's kind of like the breakdown? And I'll be, 20k is still a lot of money, and it's still a nice collection, especially if it's in singles, right? That's a hefty amount of singles.
Yeah.
150k, which I've done a few at that kind of number. Usually it's then down to literal numbers. It's like, what do you want? What percentage do you want? It's more straight down to the point, I think, rather than just like, I don't mind taking the risk and paying a bit more on a 20k collection. But when you're paying 150k, a percent is quite a lot in that swing. So you need to be more business minded then. And obviously it's, usually how it works is we'll take the good stuff that we feel confident in, and then we'll take a risk on some other stuff that we're like, it might be doing all right. It might take a bit longer to sell, but as long as we can recoup X amount relatively quick or safely, then we'll do it. But I like the 6-figure collections now. I like being able to connect with people who own these big collections that, people don't see them at shows very often, or they've been collecting for years. And just, talking to them and seeing how they got into the hobby. What did they think about it when they were buying this stuff? Was it to sell? I mean, a lot of people just liked the cards and kind of forgot about them, or liked buying sealed and, now want to sell out of it. We had one a few years ago, which was from Saudi Arabia, and it was an ex-store owner who had loads of Jungle, Fossil, and Team Rocket packs, boxes and packs, and they banned Pokemon in Saudi Arabia about the religion stuff or Christian, whatever it was at the time. I don't know what it was.
Okay.
And he just put everything into storage, and we ended up buying that collection from Saudi Arabia. And I think at the time it was 33 boxes or 33 Fossil and 20 Jungle and something like 10,000 Rocket packs. It was a huge collection.
I remember seeing that video with literally, it was like a big clear tub with like long crimp Rocket packs, I think, on the collector's video.
Yeah, it was with Card House as well. Like I helped middle it, and they ended up buying it over stages, and some of it got sold quite quick. But that was crazy. It was literally in a basement in Saudi Arabia.
Mad.
The guy came over with some boxes. We met him in Milton Keynes in a Starbucks. We opened the box to make sure it was fine. Obviously, the heat in Saudi Arabia made all the packs really light because it sucked all the moisture out of them. So we were like, oh shit, we need to open some packs because the wet scales weren't really doing too much. And it was fine. Then he ended up traveling in this suitcase with $250,000 of boxes and stuff from Saudi Arabia to meet us in London. But that was a crazy collection. But in today's market, it's probably double, if not triple that. I think Fossil boxes are like 5k, Jungle boxes probably a bit underneath. Rocket packs 200, 250. It's probably all doubled, if not more. But that was a cool one.
Wow. I mean, that answers the next question, mate, which was, what was the craziest collection you bought? And I mean, that's that pretty much sounds like it was. Like, Christ. Yeah,
that was good. We picked up some cool ones, and we just bought a huge one from Canada, where she flew over with some stuff, shipped some other stuff. Some of it got stuck in customs for 4 months, but we won't talk about that.
4 months.
So that was like $200,000 collection. That was really cool. And there's all poncho boxes she bought from the Pokemon Center for $30 or whatever it was back in the day.
Man.
So that was cool. And then there's been other really cool ones as well. Like at one point we had 69 Pop Series 5 packs from a guy who bought them. No, he got given them when he had a Pokemon shop and forgot about them. And we sold them way too quick also. But that was a 50k deal back in the day. So there's been a lot. I've been lucky that I've dealt with some really cool cards and high end, and just
yeah,
that's
Christ, cool. That's sick. I mean, for those new to collecting, like, and we discussed this earlier, the word grail, right? It's thrown around like no one's business. As someone with what would be considered true grails in the Art Academy stuff, is anything modern, in your opinion, an actual grail?
Grail is a term that, like you said, is thrown around so often now. It actually disgusts me a little bit. I understand if you're a Weedle collector and that Pop 1 Weedle is your grail, that's fine. But in the grand scheme of the hobby, it ain't a grail to me, and it probably ain't a grail to you guys. So it's tough. And what I see as well a lot on Instagram is I've just picked up my Grail next week, sold it for something else. If you're picking up a Grail, it ain't getting sold the next week. I'll tell you, like from a collector who has Grail cards in his PC and his business, I don't actively go, I'm going to sell this the week after I get it. It's not a chance. I want to enjoy the card. I want to own the history, be part of the history. So yeah, it gets thrown around way too often. For me, anything that's, and let's take away pop as well, because people can be like, what did we own? We owned the first edition Lugia Neo Gen, right? PSA 10. That was the card we bought for 6 figures. And that in people's eyes is a grail. I don't deny that. But it's not really, you can buy a first edition Lugia on eBay from anywhere, from probably like 1,000 up to 5,000 raw. If you can go on the market and buy it, it can't be that much of a grail. It's a grail because it's a PSA 10 and there's pop 45. That's right, okay. Go on to the market and go and buy, I said snap cards just sold, but go and buy a snap card off the open market. Go and buy a 97 Pika trophy off the market. Go and buy an Art Academy Kyogre off the market. You're paying hundreds and hundreds of thousands because everyone owns them, doesn't want to let them go. So yeah, there's definitely a difference in my eyes, but maybe that's because I'm a bit old school and I remember seeing cards like illustrators that were on eBay for 50k when, a first edition Zard was 200 quid, and that's a grail. Stuff that is, just because it's got a low pop in my eyes, isn't a grail. It's a low pop, sure, but it doesn't come into that same category for me. Really, SM Pratt says it well, like what's he say, the rarer the minter the better or something. That's what it is. You get the really rare stuff that you can't go and buy in the best condition, and that's grail to me. If you say I own this, and like for example the Art Academy set, there's probably 5 other complete sets in the world that I know of. I own one of them. It's a grail, and there's only 100 ever printed. A lot of the artists who won the competition don't sell. It's technically a trophy card. It's starting to earn that prestige now. That's a grail because, go on the market and go and buy a complete set. Impossible. So yeah, there is a difference, but people seem to want, I don't know if it's the clickbait or the Instagram views or the, look what I've just done. I bought a poncho. It's a grail. Is it? How many is there?
Yep.
Like, how often do you see them? Walk around the show and show me art academies. I bet you find none, if any.
Not anymore now that you're not there.
Oh yeah.
So where would you rank the following in terms of grail status? And these are technically grails. So you were ponchos, gold stars, 1st to 4th trophies, artist signed. So like Arita signed, voice actors, that sort of stuff. First eds, and then your true grails like Snap. So basically your limited run cards.
So based on today, probably something like, I'm trying to think the way you can just go on the market. So probably when you talk about first editions, you just mean like first edition Neo Gen or something.
Yeah.
So that you just go on them. There's loads of that on my website. So that's at the bottom. You can go out wherever. Ponchos, then they're probably next. People like them. I understand them. The most liquid cards in the hobby. There's a lot of them though, right? Like if you go to any con, most vendors have at least one poncho. So is it really a grail? Probably not. It's cool, really cool cards, but not a grail. What were the other options? I forgot. I know you said 1 to 4th place trophies, but that's way higher up.
Artist signed cards, so like Arita signed, gold stars, ponchos. Okay,
so then it would be probably gold stars, especially in the higher grades. Again, just look at the population really in comparison to a poncho. The signed cards, depending on the artist, right? So Arita, at one point, he's the GOAT, right? Arita, I've had dinner with him. He's an amazing guy. And I like his stuff, but he signs way too regularly, right? I own stuff that there's only one of them in the world. But there's also other people that have similar cards. So, don't know, they're probably next. Like I have Fukuda, non-dated, non-personalized 2005 signatures on gold stars and stuff. He ain't doing them anymore. So,
No.
they're really rare, but I don't know, still above that. then obviously your first to fourth place trophies, and then anything like snaps, illustrator, whatever, art academy above that.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. And it's good to hear it because, as we said, the use of the word grail, personal grails I understand, like you said, but yeah, like actual true grails, the shit you will never see in a binder, that's what I would consider a modern day grail or a true grail.
Yeah.
Do you ever buy a collection and immediately think, oh shit?
I have done, yeah. I mean, it's more the, oh shit, did I do the right thing there? Now I need to sell it, because I'll never go back on a word or break it. Once I've said I'm doing the deal, that's it. I'm committing. I'll take the L. It's not worth the reputation that I've built. So there's been a few where I've done that, or there's been a few where I've bought them, and then the next week, so let's go back to the waifus, right? Do you remember the waifu bit?
Yeah.
I was in the middle of that, and I was buying and selling, and it was great. I made a lot of money. I held on to some things a little bit too long, including that Sun and Moon Lily, where there was a small time period, and then the market just literally died, and they've never recovered really since. And I still have stuff in a little case that's my long-term don't look at, which has waifus in it. And one of them, which is the funniest one as well, and I never should have bought it. So this was before the first ever card party in Anaheim, it's 2023. This was literally the waifu boom. A couple of months before, I was like, oh, that Vileplume alt art from Dream League with Erica in.
Erica, yep.
It was super cheap, PSA 10. I was like, it's got Erica in it. Everyone likes Erica. Started going up. So I bought 10 of them at like $80 to $90. And I sold a few, and then I took them to Card Party and got out with 3 of them at $800 each.
Wow.
And I was like, that's solid. I got rid of most of my stock, and I'm in the green. We then leave Card Party in Anaheim. We go to LA, and Harry rings me up and says, I found this CGC Pristine 10 Erica. It's yours for $500. I'm like, oh, that's easy money. He picked it up for $90 from a shop. He flipped it to me. That card is still in my case over there, and I will never recoup the $500 I bought for that card. And it's there as a memory to go, don't get sucked into the hype, you idiot. So, yeah, I did all right on Americans. But,
So just get it out of his wallet next time he drops it, mate. That'll be fine.
Yeah, he owes me sushis, definitely.
Is there any cards you've yet to handle either via consignment or just from others in the hobby you'd love to just say you've had your hands on?
So handle is in like owners in a business or be part of the business, or handle is in like I've held them in my hand. It's someone else's.
Partial ownership. I mean, just to say, for me, like anytime something new comes in the store, I'm like, I'm gassed that I've like seen it, sort of thing.
I'll be truthfully honest. I've held snaps, I've held illustrators, I've held 97 trophies, 98 I've held everything. The one thing that I wish, going back to what snaps, I said to myself, I need to buy a snap card. They are the upper echelon of Grail. And there was a post of probably a few years ago now where it was like everyone putting together who owns the snaps, because obviously so limited them to complete a full set. And at the time, I think Dubsy had just bought the Pika and the Magikarp, so it completed the set for the first time. And it was like, such and such owns this card. And I was like, imagine being part of that like elite group of collectors and then whatever. And I was like, I should own one. So there was a potential where we could have bought a Snap Coughing in a Collecticon probably 18 months ago for $30,000, and we didn't. It was raw, and we didn't take the punt. And then obviously the Articuno for 46 that I lost was the other one. And I just wish I'd gone. I should have just gone for it at that point and trusted my gut. So that's probably the cards I would want. The Illustrator always feels a bit overhyped. It's cool, but you do see them quite a lot. And I mean, the whole thing with Logan and everything, as much as like, I've got a really hot take about Logan Paul, but anyway, as much as Logan's Logan, he has done quite a lot for the hobby to build up the value of a lot of the cards. But anyway, yeah, probably the snaps.
Don't think we're letting that go, Sam. We're coming right back to that in a minute.
We'll get that hot take out.
We can talk about it in a minute. But I would say a Snap Articuno or a Snap Gyarados is probably the ones that I would own, that I wish I would own. Or actually, the you probably have to get a picture up to see it. The Boss Pikachu, the Art Academy one, where he's sitting on his chair and he's like in a green suit. I have that in a ceramic figure that I bought from Card Party, and I always wanted the card to go with it. I put a $200,000 offer out to people to buy that card, and
Lord.
it didn't sell. No one reached out. The next comp was $440,000 in the PSA 10 for that card. So now it's unobtainable again.
Wow.
Jesus.
Wow.
This is what I've never heard of these cards.
Yeah, I'm literally writing shit down right now.
I'm on my phone. I am listening, but I'm searching them. I'm like,
Yeah,
what
so-
the fuck is this?
Yeah, the easiest way to do is literally type in illustration contest, Bulbapedia come up, and scroll down past the Pichus and the Arceuses and the Zoroas, the Art Academy competition. You'll see all the winners. Not as, I think they've got them as cards, but it's just the images, I think, as well. So you'll kind of understand then what I'm saying. But I mean, you can also put them up in little captions, because most people won't have heard. These are like, there's very few people who know about them, and very few people can even afford them. So it's like no one really knows unless you've been in the hobby or follow me, basically, I guess.
Yeah.
This is why I've been so happy to get you on, because honestly, like, knowing from the Art Academy stuff, like, just the level of knowledge you have of like the super rare and obscure is just fucking fascinating for me.
Yeah, I mean, it's mainly because when I was collecting initially, I would see these cards and be like, it's just a bit above my budget and I couldn't afford them. And it's always kind of been that way. And then eventually I've ticked some off my lists. So like the Victory Ring, the Pika Ring, and the Victory Orb, the Mew Orb. They were always on my list because people had them, but they were thousands even back then. And I was like, I can't spend that on a card. And now I have excess money to spend. I'm like, I'll own it. I want to own it. Again, I also like collecting stuff with history. The main thing with Art Academies is they're unique in the history behind the competition and the winners. There's nothing else like it apart from snap cards. And that's what I like. I like, where did this card come from? What competition in Japan was it won? How many copies are there? Who owns them? What's the PSA 10 pop like? Like the Pika Rings pop 34, I think, 32, 34. Like, no one's finding these in the wild and grading them. They're not popping up every day. And there's you might have met Zach, Poke360. Whenever I do go to shows now, I go to him and we just chat about trophy cards because he's into the same stuff as me. And I think he just bought a Snap Chansey, which I'm kind of jealous about. But Zach, well done anyway. I haven't said that yet to him, but congrats if you do see this.
Yeah, congrats. Holy shit. So going back into the Art Academy. So for those that don't know you, and I mean, we're an hour and a half in, so I feel like most people should by now. Tell us how and why the Art Academy became your chase set.
So it was actually quite a funny story. My partner is a Pikachu collector, and at the time we were doing both every English and every Japanese Pikachu in existence. And I was sat in bed on like a Saturday morning, and I was on my phone on eBay, and I seen this Pikachu card, Japanese one, and I went, what the hell is this card? It was in Japan. It was like £115, which at the time, like, compare gold stars with 20 quid. I was like, that's so expensive. I woke my missus up next to me. She was asleep, and I'm like, look at this card. I was like, look how cool it is. Like, it's literally a kid's holding an umbrella Pikachu card. And I just impulsively messaged and bought one. It was £110, which was crazy back then. That was like first edition Zard prices. It was wild. And it arrived, and I was like, this is really cool. And he sent this little thing that said Art Academy. It was like a scan of his winning thing that came through the post of it. And I was like, these are really cool. So we went on, we became investigators basically for the next 3 to 6 months, where we were trying to find every single winner of the Art Academy competition, which, if anyone doesn't know, 2015 Pokemon released the Art Academy game on, I think it's 3DS.
3DS,
And the idea was to draw the Pokemon with a stylus and whatever, have some fun drawing Pokemon, which is cool. And then they did a competition. It was the first ever competition that went outside of Japan for an illustration contest. So they had 10 winners that were Japanese, and then they had 12 winners, which were from, I think it was Europe, North America, I think it was Oceania, and I think it was just Europe in general, yeah. And basically it was favorite Pokemon or it was dress up Pikachu, and you just had to draw freehand, I guess, because I don't know how it wouldn't have. There was no templates like the previous
No.
competitions, like the Zorua competition had a template, the Arceus had a template. So it was free-handed, and they submitted their art, and they won. I mean, if they won, they received 100 copies of their artwork produced onto a card, and they owned every single copy to do what they pleased with. So it was really cool. And the guy I bought off Japan was actually in E4 forum, and it was his son who had won. I think his name was Noodles in E4. And he decided to sell all of his son's copies for £115 each. Bear in mind at the time, what does that equate to? I can't even work. £10,000, $10,000, whatever it was, 100 copies.
Jesus Christ.
So that was a lot of money if you really think about it back then. So he sold them all, and I bought a copy, and so does a lot of other people, and they sold within probably a few months. I think when I bought mine, he had 8 or 10 left, and I tried to buy more, but he wouldn't come down in his price, which, again, a bit of a regret. I could have bought one more and, $100,000 card today, but anyway. So yeah, and basically it took us 6 months of hunting to get winners on Twitter and find them on Instagram, and basically we ended up finding some, but not all of them, and some of them, unfortunately, people were like gatekeeping information. It was like, well, I found them, you can't have the information because I want to only own that card and you not, which still pees me off, and the people know who it is, because I have frequent rants about it, because it cost me probably like $2 million in cards in today's market. But anyway, not go down that rabbit hole. So yeah, we found certain winners. I think we had 5 copies, and each copy we had that, but we bought directly from the winners. At the time, it ranged from anywhere from like $150 to like $300 a card. We'd get a little bit of a personalized artwork with it, which I own all of them still. A little
That's
like
cool.
thank you, and we'd buy them. Maybe it was a Christmas or as a birthday or something. It was a lot of money to spend, so it was more of a treat. And then basically in 2017 or 2016, just as Sun and Moon came in, we not quit Pokemon, we had to start saving for a house. So we put everything on the back burner and save for a house, basically. So then when I came back in, I was like, well, I want to complete the set. I was like, I've heard no one ever complete it, really, and I want to be one of them few people. And for the next 3.5, 4 years from going full time, that was my hunt. That was everything to me, which obviously people know about. I went on about it enough anyway. But yeah, now the set's starting to show its potential. People are starting to recognize it for what it is, the rarity, the scarcity, the everything. But that set, yeah, took me around the world. I bought some cards in Hawaii to finish my set when it was Worlds 23, I think it was 24. Yeah, it's been a crazy journey, but as far as I'm aware, I know of 4 sets. I own one. The guy who in the UK who didn't share copies owns one. Logan Paul owns a set, and then there's another set that's just been graded, which I'm not allowed to tell who owns it, but someone else owns it. And that's the only 4 I actually know of. But there will be a few more, because there'll be other collectors that have got sets. So it is literally like one of the rarest under the snap cards as set completions there is.
Yeah. Jeez. So, last question for this one. What is, in your eyes, the one card you think people are massively sleeping on right now?
Wish I knew that, because I'd buy so many copies.
Give us the second one, and then you can keep the first one to yourself.
Until we're off air, and then we'll hear the first.
It's difficult. Cards, I don't think any cards really slept on to a degree now. I don't really know. That question's difficult, honestly. Because I think everybody knows about certain cards, and then maybe it goes out of fashion a little bit, and everyone doesn't want it, and then it moves into another card, and everybody wants this card. Like, it happened a lot with Japanese, like WotC 10s and stuff. But buy a card I would invest in. I mean, if we're talking no budget kind of thing, there's certain play promos that I think are good value, like the original Bubble Mew that I like. I think even like the Cora Shining Mew. They're the top. I have that in a PSA 10 that I graded myself when I bought it for £50 back in 2012, 15 or something.
I love
But
that. You
anyway,
just dagger to the heart in him then.
Yeah.
anyway, I would just pick popular Pokemon, I guess, and just ones
Yeah.
that aren't as there isn't 10,000 in a 10 that you are happy to. You like the artwork and you don't mind sitting on them, and if they go to nothing, then they go to nothing. That is what it is.
Would you buy raw over graded?
It's also tough. I mean, I'd probably, if I was investing or actually taking investment into thingy, I would probably buy graded or sealed, just because sealed just over the course of history has always done well. But I would just, if you like a certain card and you can buy multiple of them, I was trying to do this with Houndoom from Acropolis, the Hollow in PSA 10. I got 2 copies in, and I was like, I'm already at like $30,000. No, I was already at $50,000. I was like, I probably need to chill out. It's quite a bit of money to sink in one card. Yeah, you just got to find the card that you feel like you can put money into and buy enough of them. So if it does double or triple, you do well off it. But it's also, not like super common, because if it's selling every day, it's never really going to jump unless anyone manipulates the market.
It's a good point. Good point. Now, before we move into the next section, we're just going to reverse that truck back up to get to your hot take on Logan.
Okay. So I remember in 2020 when he did the first video, and the amount of people that watched that and the hype that he created, I guess, I reckon helped a lot of people re-find their collections and their enjoyment for something in a bit of a shit time, right? So there was that, and other people tried to replicate it. And I remember watching the Dumb Money video where the fucking guru guy was like, "Oh, money back guaranteed," and he opened the box and it was fake. So other people tried to replicate what he had done and failed. Obviously, all the stuff with like the marketplace and stuff and the shady stuff, I don't think is right. But at the same time, he's in the public eye so much. As soon as he fucks up once, everyone's on him like nothing. So he doesn't really get any. Like, if I fuck up, no one's going to be after me and asking for my head. I think it's just very public, and obviously he's taken advantage at a degree. But I also feel like he's done a lot in terms of increasing momentum for the hobby, getting people into the hobby that had no interest at all. Investing, as much as people hate investing, Pokemon's an investable thing now, which is wild, but he's got people in there that would never even thought about buying a Pokemon card. I was talking to an auctioneer the other day, and he said people who have been long-time stamp buyers at his auction house have been recommended by their investor guys, whatever they're called, to buy into Pokemon cards, and they're overpaying on everything because of the could be they're investing, and that's how it is now. You can't get around it. It's not the hobby it was 10, 15 years ago, right? But I just feel like if it weren't for him, I wouldn't be in the position I would be in today anyway, because he's literally he's carried the value of a lot of stuff on his shoulders. And everything he has done that's bad, he's done. I'm not going to say he's an angel, but he's also done a lot of good in terms of making people who didn't think Pokemon could be a full-time job, because I near enough guarantee if he wasn't involved, I wouldn't be in the position I would be today. Other people wouldn't be in the position they are today, because he's got people, because of his scope, that had no input, no care about Pokemon into the scene. So I'm definitely not saying, he's the best guy in the world. I also, don't really like that he buys stuff and everyone copies what he does, and he pumps stuff quite often. He doesn't tell people really to go out and buy it to a degree. They make their own decisions and they want to capitalize as much as anyone else. Like, if he goes out on his next videos about art academies, I'm not going to be like, "Oh, fucking hell, Logan Paul, why have you done that?" I'd be like, "Yeah, cheers, mate. You
push it. Yeah.
Double, tripled. You're going to set me up
Retirement's
for
come
life."
5 years earlier.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's what people kind of, again, he's not the best guy for the hobby, but he's also not the worst. That guru guy was much worse, and everyone's forgot about him with his shiny bald head. So,
so question to both of you, actually. Who do you think shone more of a light on Pokemon, Logan Paul or Pat Flynn?
Ooh,
that's a coin flip on positive, negative there. Like, if you look at it, Logan did some positive, but has done more negative, whereas Pat has been way more positive than negative. I don't think Pat's done anything
would Pat
negative.
have come into the scene regardless of what Logan's done.
Yeah, I believe so.
Do you
But
reckon?
I might just be biased here, just based off his content.
I mean,
And
I was
Alice happy.
yeah, I'm a mod for Pat. I think, well, I was a mod. I still am a mod for Pat. I know him quite well. He would probably be in the scene because he did it with his family. I think with Logan, there's so many people that don't care about Pokemon, are only in because of him. And even if, he brought in, I don't know, he definitely brought in more than Pat has. Pat's just done it in a better way. And obviously his views, how he does business, how he is I don't even know how he does it, but Pat is a guy, like he is the guy. But Logan's influence and what he's done, and he's bought stuff at high prices because he has money to play around with.
Yeah.
And just his controversy, I think, is branding a lot of people to be like, what the hell is this Logan Paul doing? Why is he buying a card for 5.2 million? And then everyone hates him because he sells it for 16 million. And in my eyes, that's it's not a good business sense to buy something low and sell it for higher. Obviously, we'll remove the liquid marketplace because that's just like a bit fucking I don't know. I'm not getting involved in that shit. I never thought that was a good thing regardless anyway. I don't know why people invest it, but different day. But I mean, yeah, I mean, you can't say he's not smart. Everything he buys, it goes up whether he influences it or not, I guess.
So those investors, those hedge funders, is it a good thing to do right now? Do you think it's a good play investing in Pokemon cards, or are we about to fall off a cliff?
I wish I knew the question. I wish I knew the answer, sorry. I don't know, just like based off where the market was 10 years ago, based where the market was 5 years ago, based off where the market was 2 years ago, based off where some of the cards were 6 months ago, I don't know. If you've got more money than sense and you're like, well, I'll put it into something else instead of my stocks or whatever, or crypto or whatever, I don't know because I don't deal in that stuff. I mean, I don't see why you can't play around with putting it in different places, but I don't know. I seen a guy pay $30,000 over last comps on a card in an auction last week because of investment. Is that a smart investment? I don't know. I watch Rudy Alpha Investments all the time, and he basically says buy in the dip and have enough capital to hold on to it until it grows, which I'm a firm believer of as well. There's different ways to invest in Pokemon to a degree. I'm not fully if you're just there to invest and you don't really give a shit about the cards. Obviously, from my perspective, I still have a PC and I still really enjoy the cards, and a lot of them give me joy, and showing them off and explaining about the history and stuff is great. A lot of them people just see it as numbers, I guess, on a sheet, and is this up, is it down? I guess that's with a lot of things, right? Whether it be stocks, property. People with a lot of money have a lot of money to spend. They've got to do something with it, right? I don't know. It's a tough question.
I suppose it's like with anything, isn't it? As you said, stocks and shares, they rise and they fall, and it's how volatile a market is, or how volatile a particular card is, or an investment piece. You've got to look at it on a case by case basis, I think.
Yeah, massively. I mean, it's like you see people, everyone saying invest in sealed and stuff, and I mean it's great, but you've got to be long-term investing in sealed.
Yes.
I know you don't like Christy, and I watch her stuff and she drives me fucking insane sometimes, but like she's presuming everyone has capital just to forget about it for 5 years and it'll be fine. A lot of people can't afford to sit on $2,000 a Pokemon and hope. I just don't like people offering that kind of advice to people. Everyone's in different situations. Like if you've got the money to go, well, I'm not going to do anything with it. I'm in my end house. I'm married. I have kids. I have more money than I need to. Sense. Yeah, sure. Play with what you've got. If you're struggling, I would never say, yeah, definitely go buy them Destined Rivals boxes and in 6 months they'll be up, because I don't fucking know. I don't think anyone else knows either.
Especially with Pokemon Company with their print cycles. No. Right, moving on to the next section. Why would somebody consign a £10,000 card as opposed to selling it privately? And if we take the Goldin, so that you come away from eBay, tell us a little bit about that if you'd like to, or if you'd like to stay away from it, that's fine. But if we go down the Goldin route and how you would do it now, what's the benefit? I
mean, the reason why I tell someone to consign first, if they offer me something that I don't really want, and I'm like, I always say this is an auction card, as in there's maybe not many sales. is maybe a little bit lower pop, is a bit niche, and it needs the public eye to get on it to try and find its true value. Like,
Yeah.
it's no good me just going, I'm going to offer you whatever because I don't really like it. I always want to be able to offer that, if you want to, you will get a higher percentage payout, obviously on your risk, of course, if it's doing well in auction. But I mean, 9 times out of 10, a lot of things do better in auction. Hence why I send my own stuff to auction and try and privately sell it, because you've only got a small group of people, right, on your followers or whatever, who will buy off a private kind of thing. Because you can stick it on eBay, but eBay UK is not as strong as eBay US. There's a few different things, imports, all that stuff. So Goldin just gets it into that audience where if someone's going to buy it, they will bid on it on Goldin. And that's how it is. And I also feel more confident of someone completing a payout on Goldin, as in they're not going to be messed around, like I said, about the really strong payment rates on there. And also, I don't risk any money then. I'll make a small percentage, and they'll actually do better off than me just buying it off them there and then. So I always say that people, again, like I was saying earlier, some people don't like auctioning cards because they don't like the risk. But sometimes you have to risk for the huge payout. I've seen and known of cards where people have offered me it. They sold it to someone else, and then the next comp in public auction is double or triple what they sold it for. And it's like, it's not like I told you so, but sometimes you have to take that leap. And, it might not always work, but most times it does. Goldin, again, is really good just because the huge public presence it has across all the shows, across socials, and just the high end they kind of deal with in that kind of echelon. And it's, I'd say out of all the stuff people consigned, there might have been 1 or 2 people that were unhappy, but it was like really niche stuff. And, you might think it's worth X amount, but if no one else does, I can't really help you with that too much, to be honest. And then, the kind of breakaway from eBay and how that happened. So I was consigning on eBay, and I was doing marquee auctions, and I was doing about 200 to 400 cards every month or so on them. So I was the biggest consigner in the UK for eBay. And then I was getting a lot of benefits from doing the marquees. So they would pay for my tables at LCS as long as I showed off what was in the auctions. I was basically getting a load of benefits that all of a sudden got removed, which I wasn't too happy with. So my alternative was, well, I'm not going to do this. With the marquees, the day after they would sell, it wasn't just like, oh, the money's in my bank, I'll pay out everyone. It was accounting for everyone to pay them out correctly with the fees, because the fees are a nightmare on eBay, as everyone probably knows if you're a business seller. It was the non-payment. It was I've not received this, not the condition I wanted. There was a whole lot of things that I was like, it's not the best. I would spend, packing 400 items, going to different places. It'd take me like 10 hours to pack. And I'm like, am I just a picker and packer at this point? Like, is this what I'm wanting to do? So they introduced me to Goldin because at that time, eBay had bought Goldin, or that whole merger had happened. And basically they said, send us stuff and we'll sell it and you have to do nothing else. And I was like, that sounds like a dream. And also for people who are VAT registered, if you sell something in the US, you pay no VAT. And it was amazing for me because I was basically losing 20% instantly if anything I made off eBay UK, whereas here I don't lose anything. So it just worked much better for my business. So now I'll just do maybe a month, or make a box up with. I just sent one off today that was $50,000 box of items. Goldin fully insure it. It's all covered by them. They pay for the labels. Goes to them. They take it out. They picture it. It goes into an auction. They sell it. I get paid out. I pay out the consignor. It's so much easier. And everyone seems to be happier with it and getting paid out more money. It's great for businesses, and it's great for me because apart from doing a few social posts and doing a little spreadsheet of who's giving me what and the kind of breakdown when it sells, I don't have to do anything else. A few promotion posts, and Goldin do everything else, and it's hands off. So yeah, Goldin for the win.
No, you sold it to me, mate. And I'm there. Yeah. I'm there with you. So how does you don't have to go through the fee that you charge and any of that jazz, but is that done on a case by case basis, or is it a flat fee? How does that structure work? Is it a negotiation, or is it boom, that's us?
it's just done by values really. So I think it works out. It's a bit weird because of buyer's premium. So let's say something sells for let's say $1,000, right? And then there's buyer's premium added on top, which is 1,122, I think. They charge 22% buyer's premium in Goldin anyway. But you will get the full 1,000, then you'll get a percentage cut of Goldin's
The
buyer's
hammer.
premium, which is because I have a set rate with them. So I can basically offer you better rates than if you just gave it to them and just got the 100%. So I think I've got it at 107% from anything from $100 to, I think it was 2,499, and then 108%, and it goes up in like increments to my highest, which is 112% for anything over $10,000. So it works out roughly at 92%. It depends how the conversion rates. It's a bit more complicated than just like that. But yeah, I've consigned $1 million on Goldin, and it's worked out really, really well for me. And they look after me, look after the people who consign with me as well. So yes, worked really well.
How does that?
That's awesome.
That must make you feel quite proud, because are you the only one that does it?
So yeah, so originally it was because of the connection with eBay, and because people are sending me stuff meant for Goldin. There was a bit of like a, is where you got the stuff, is it secure? Is it this? Is it that? And I'm like, yeah, it's all secure. Everything's fine. And it's because of just relationships I built up over time.
Yeah.
I mean, relationships are worth the weight in gold in this space. And I built up multiple of them from my time of starting and taking the first trip to America and, breaking even on events just to meet people and get in the right spaces, and then getting to this point and doing so much of eBay, which, and it's a shame that the eBay thing ended, but we just had different ideas of what I was going to use it for, I guess. But Goldin has been the shining light of that whole eBay fiasco kind of thing and how it's worked out. But I can pick up the phone and message my guy, my rep from Goldin, and be like, I've got this coming in tomorrow. What auction can I go into? What one do you think? I can send it off in 2 days. He'll auction in 2 weeks and they'll get paid out. It's easy to communicate, which is what I like with Goldin.
I think that's quite exciting. I'm immediately running through my head on what I can give you, and the answer's nothing, because
I got someone with a black label Zard, so yeah.
There you go. So it's kind of like, I think as well what you're saying about the contacts and the relationships you build with people, and that's where we live in a world now where one-way communication is just so prevalent. I hate it. I hate one-way communication because it can be taken so many different ways. Whereas two-way communication, speaking to someone face to face, having a call like this, being able to pick up the phone, actually use a phone, and have a conversation with someone, you can actually understand someone's emotions, and you can build good relationships with people. So I think it's really good what you said there, and that it is worth its weight in gold.
Yeah, it's one of the main things I always set out to be. Obviously, I had a few connections early on, and then when I made it full time, it was like meeting them people that I seen as idols back in the day. And I've been in rooms with people and been for dinners with people and been invited to places where there's not many people in the UK being in them spaces. Like I said, we went for a private dinner with Arita at a Legala about 2 years ago. There was 12 of us in a room with Arita. We were just in a private room where the PSG players eat, and they kept the restaurant open for us for 2 hours past closing time, and we just sat there chatting about Pokemon with Dubsy, Gemmint Pokemon, Mr. Fuji, like some absolute names in the hobby, and we're just, I'm in this room and I'm like, how have I got to this point? Just knowing the right people, and it's little things where you wouldn't think they're important, but they just, over time, people will reach out and you'll just get a phone call and be like, what do you think of this? Or like, what's your advice? And what's going on in this market or this market, and it's like, I need to get somewhere. Can you sort me out? And it just works both ways, and I've found it really beneficial. I mean, at one point a couple of years ago when I was like going out to all the cons, like the funniest one was Japan, right? World's Japan 23. It was probably the Saturday night, and it's me, it's I think it's Chloe, Harry. I don't know if Dean was there. I think it was Harry. Then you had Leonhardt, you had Bear Walker, you had Sarah Notchichenny, you had, I think, Nate, was it Danny or Nate, Super Duper Danny or Breaking Nate were there. And we were just in this music bar in a Japanese lounge and just just doing sake and opening packs. And I'm like, you don't get this opportunity. Like, no one else experienced this with, like, the voice actor of Ash. The Bear Walker creates all the skateboards. You got Leonardo, who's one of the big... Oh, we were with Ando as well on Listed Leaf. That was the other person. I can't forget Ando.
Bloody hell.
So we're in this room with just, like, the biggest of the big in terms of social media and influencer and YouTubers and obviously whatever. And I'm just there like, yeah, this is fantastic. And I've been in spots before where I've... Card Party 1, where we're sat in the bar and I'm sat next to Lee and I've got... is it Mystic, the Pokemon Go guy?
Yes,
I've got
Mystic 7.
I've got Rev behind me. I've got Ryan, another side of me. I've got people just sat around and say we're all ripping packs together, and I'm like, they're the memories that not many people ever recreate. And as much as I don't see them people anymore, I knew if I just seen them at a con, it'd be like I've known them for ages. There's not that weird like fandom of, oh, it's like Leonard, I can't speak to him. Like, first time I met Leonhardt, him and my partner were running around Disneyland like they were 6, looking at stuff while we were looking for food. And I'm like, I don't know how I've got into this place, but it's just fantastic. Yeah, it's wild. So I've been really privileged to be in places and speak to people. And I forgot about being in TCA Gaming's house as well with Rusty. Just, yeah, one Charlotte Collecticon, it was us and about 6 or 8 people. It's like Dan Ketchum Collectibles, Gem Mint, it was Radar, it was anyone, Gary King Pokemon. We're just in his house and his wife's serving us dinner. We're looking at his collection. He's giving out packs to rip. He gives us like, I've got a fossil sheet, an uncut fossil pack sheet that he gifted everyone. I've got it there, down there somewhere. I don't know where it is now. So he just it's just stuff like that where I'm in places and I'm like, sometimes it's a bit of an imposter syndrome, but I'm like, no, I've earned my place and I know people and I've earned to get to these places and experience this. So I have been really lucky. I kind of miss it a bit, but I mean, hobby's just not how it was a few years ago.
Yeah.
But I'd love to start going again and catching up.
Your energy when we started talking about that and the people and the experiences and the relationships, your energy level went boom. And I think that's really nice to see, because that shows me that you've still got a love for it. Do you think that beyond the relationships and I don't want to call it the mundane, but the run of the mill stuff, do you get tired of that, or does the Goldin thing keep you going, keep you buoyant, or how does it make you feel on the day to day?
I don't think I'm working. The only time I'm working is accounting and that side, because that side feels like work. Apart from that, I'm not working. This is my, I say dream job, but I've not once gone, oh, this feels like work. It doesn't feel like how it did when I was in my graphic design job. Yeah. It just feels like, yeah, this is fun. I enjoy it. Like, I just really enjoy it. There's been times early days where I got involved in stuff that I shouldn't have got involved, or I tried to keep everyone happy, which I shouldn't have done. And like finding out who my actual friends were in the space and jealousy and everything, which made it a bit stressful at times. But now, I've realized that kind of who my friends are, who I can trust, who I can build stuff with. And I just don't see it as work still. Like, you put me at a con and I've got to work all day, and then it's not really work to me. I used to work on a building site carrying slates up a roof or taking fucking bird shit out of a gutter. Like, that's work. I'm sitting here selling cardboard and enjoying it, and it's my hobby. Again, apart from the accounting side, because it can mean the matter of me paying X amount or whatever, and it's a bit complicated. Remembering when I bought X and sold X, and it's like, but apart from that, it ain't a job. This is just me on fun time all the time.
I love that. I think that a lot of people will see this if they're still with us, and they usually are after 2 hours. They will aspire to be in that position one day, and I think, why not? I know that you've said that obviously it's quite difficult at the moment, and you probably would advise against it if you're new. But at the end of the day, I think if you're enjoying what you do, obviously you've got to make money, you've got to make it work. But that's a really pure form of putting it in, that you don't feel like you're working. No. As they say, you'll never work another day in your life if you love what you do.
Yeah, I mean, that's how it feels. I mean, I'll be honest, you shouldn't just do this really if you just care about the money. If you have no affiliation to Pokemon, you don't. There's another little bit of a hot take, but anyway. But if you don't collect any cards yourself, but you just buy them based off the business, I mean, I get it, but you've got to have some enjoyment where you appreciate the cards that you want to collect and you want to own. And if you're a set collector or whatever, that's fine. Like my partner's still collecting Pikachu to this day, and she's completely separated. She has joy and no stress. She does it as a hobby, and I'll buy her a Pikachu card that she doesn't know. And bear in mind, she's missing, before the 30th comes out, she's missing 4 Pikachus from having the complete English Pikachu Master Set, full stop.
Wow.
If I buy her a new Pikachu, it doesn't matter if it's a £2 one that she's missing or a £2,000 one, she will be the same excitement as anything else. And that's what I think people kind of don't have anymore, who just do it for business. There's no enjoyment. There's no thrill of getting a card. The best part is getting a card you've wanted for ages and being like, I now own it. It's part of my collection. So
I love that. I love that because I think collecting Pikachu is a marathon, not a sprint. And with 30th coming out, and it could be the cheapest of cards, but you're right.
Yeah.
You do get that feeling. And I'm the same. I'll walk into Dan's shop, right? And I'm trying to do a monster deck. So I'm trying to do multiple pages of one Pokemon through Generation 1 and including artwork and all that jazz. And I love it. I absolutely love it. And the thing for me is it doesn't need to be the most expensive card.
no.
It could be a common midvid, and you put that in there, and it's just perfect. It's perfect color and everything else.
Yeah.
And I totally get that. But
It's
I could. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, I mean, it's the reason I have my website now set up, because for years I had stuff that I couldn't sell on eBay because I'd just lose money by selling it. My website now has everything on there. I mean, it has half of my stock. I've still got, I don't know, 25,000 cards from stuff that I haven't listed on there that I need to sort. That's like reverse from Sword and Shields that I used to buy at 5p a pop in collections, or like just normal non-hollows from X and Y, Sun and Moon. I've got all that to list yet, but I've got so much variety on my website where people like yourself who are just doing pages, and I get it all the time. Someone will come and just buy every single, what did I have the other day? Like Bronzor or something. I'm like, I like that. I like that you're collecting something niche and you've got a goal and that's what you want, and my website can provide that. There's not many places where, I mean, I couldn't provide it at shows because I couldn't, the square meterage per value of whatever I had, I couldn't accommodate to bring a bulk box. But on my website, you can go on and buy whatever you want. It's a £1 card, and I'm more than happy to pack it and send you because I know you're buying it for a reason. Which again, it is why I done it, because I had so much stock that wasn't being in the eyes of anyone, and now some of it is. I think it's 8,000 unique Pokemon, and then it's 35,000 in duplicates and stuff on there. And then there's some sealed on there as well. But there's a lot of singles from every era. So if you are looking for stuff, let me know. I will give you a discount code, which I probably should have sold for this, but I didn't think ahead that much.
We'll once you set it up, we'll put it in the description. Yeah, for sure.
I should have set one up.
Speaking of shorts, are you ready for another quickfire round, Sam?
Yeah, go ahead. I'm getting into it.
Let's go. Right, Pokemon, overvalued, undervalued?
God, this is hard for someone who's been in it for long as me. I'll say overvalued because I don't believe the values at the minute.
Okay, Vintage Bubble, we in one? Yes or no?
It's also tough. I'm going to say no.
Okay, Modern Bubble, are we in one? Yes or no?
We're always in a modern bubble. Is engrading them?
Yep.
Oh, I mean, yeah, just flip a coin and hope for not for a 6, I guess.
Raw cards, opportunity or headache?
Opportunity if you buy near mint.
Sealed better than singles?
No, singles are the one.
Watsy, still the best?
I like EX era, but I'd probably say yeah.
Okay. Japanese, buy or avoid?
It's also hard. PSA 10s that have exploded in price, definitely avoid. But just like, I don't know. I'd say avoid, just avoid in general.
Illustration rares, future classics or future avoids?
Future classics. I feel like you can do a lot with them collecting wise.
Okay, Moonbron, still room to grow or we hit the ceiling?
Mark my words, in 10 years that'll be like a 20k card. I can guarantee it.
Charizard, overrated?
He's always overrated.
Pikachu, safest Pokemon investment or the worst?
I mean, I hope safest because we have so many Pikachu cards, but I'd say safest. Yeah.
Okay. Then, right, one card you'd buy today without thinking?
Any value again? Such a broad spectrum. Oh, God.
You got a blank check.
Oh, blank check. I mean,
Yeah.
Any snap card.
One card you'd sell today.
Oh, it's also difficult. There's got to be a Japanese card that's exploded that I don't like. Probably like I actually seen it like a Scizor from Japanese Scizor Neo Destiny and a PSA 10. That thing used to be $200. I just seen someone sell it for $1,000. Hell's the market doing?
Jesus Christ.
One set you'd avoid.
Probably Prismatic.
One set you'd accumulate.
I really like Call of Legends.
Legends is sick. Right. And final question: if Pokemon disappeared tomorrow, what would you collect instead?
Actually, when I read the questions, this is one that I was debating about. I actually don't know if I'd collect anything else. It's been in my life for so long.
Please.
I don't, no, I was in One Piece.
Never a blue
from the
eyes white
start.
dragon kind of guy when you were younger.
No, I mean I collected it for the small phase, but no. I'm trying to think what else I collect outside of Pokemon. It's not much. Yeah, but I don't know. I don't think anything. Sports
Fair.
cards, maybe. I don't know.
That's fair. So looking to the future, where do you think Pokemon is going in the next 5 years?
If I had my crystal ball, which isn't here, I'd be able to tell you. I mean, I don't know. I believe at the minute we're just on an upwards trajectory, and as much as I'd like to say it's going to go back down to how it used to be, I've been saying that for the last 12 months, and it's not happened. And it's getting to the point now where I think too many people have so much money in it that for it to drop drastically, something crazy would have to happen. So yeah, I mean, I just see it keep going up, and yeah, the hobby, I don't know, maybe getting crazier than it is now, which I hope it doesn't. If I'm still in the hobby in 5 years, I don't know. I might be sitting somewhere on a beach, I guess, and living the best life, but I don't know. Yeah, hopefully still up, but yeah, it's a tough one.
So do you think it's more a case of corrections over it being a bubble burst if something does happen?
I think corrections, yeah, but then I also have been saying this for 12 months that where's the correction going to be? And I think in my head, I'm like, let's just say a card that people are heavily invested, like Ponchos, drop. Are they going to drop 50%? Are they going to drop 30% before people go, well, they were this much, why don't just buy them all up again? Because people have money. It's not even about the money anymore. There's people in the hobby with so much money, don't know what to do with it. So I don't know. I mean, certain things will go up and they'll come down. Like we've seen the Japanese market come down in PSC 10s and certain stuff. And things will have that up and down, but I don't think it'll ever just go. I don't think the market will just drop 30% overnight. I don't know what would have to happen for that to happen. Something, yeah.
We've even seen that if a global pandemic happens, if anything, it pushes the fucking stuff up.
Yeah. It's so yeah, it's so tough now with, I mean, just think of all the people that vend at shows and all the people investing outside. Would they let it drop? Like you see everyone there's people who shill their own cards to the moon because they don't want to lose it for X amount and people still buy it. And there's people who buy up certain cards and people are like, oh, how's that happened? But realistically, if you deep it, if you have 10 million in the bank, you buying up every Van Gogh Pikachu you see for the next 6 months until it hits $5,000 or £5,000, whatever, isn't unreasonable because you have that much money in the bank. I think sometimes we just kind of don't understand how easy manipulated Pokemon is because it's not in our realms of doing so where we are today and a lot of listeners and viewers are. But there are people out there they're like, well, this is easy. Why can't I buy everything and then sell it all and go around the show and get rid of it at 90% to everyone? If the market drops then, I don't care. I'm already making good money. So it's a really tough balance, really tough.
I think we're at a point now where Pokemon's at the IP is so huge that I think in 20 years' time, we're still going to be seeing, we're seeing modern collectors now. They're going to be the vintage collectors of the future. And I think that I think that there's almost like a merry-go-round now where it just keeps supporting it and the corrections may happen. And I just wonder where we'll be in 20 years. If you got that crystal ball's not there, is it? You've not bought it.
I mean, I wish it was because if it, like I said earlier, if it was, I'd definitely be in the Maldives by now on a private yacht or something.
You'd own an island by now.
Oh, don't. The amount of stuff that I've sold too early because of being scared of the market or not having the capacity to hold it, and the money that I've lost actually makes me a bit ill now. Even at the position I'm at, we're talking. I'll give you the worst example because this one pisses me off, and I should never have done it, but I was making good money. February 2025 at the first LCS. I did a deal for a Gold Star Mew and a PSA 10 for $6,000, which was the same as the last comp. I got an offer a month later, even though I said I wasn't selling it because it was part of the PC, which I never do, for $12,000. And I was like, that's too much money in a month to say no to. I was like, maybe the ceiling's 15K on this card. It just sold for $190,000.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So like, talk about like thick
Whoa.
skin in the hobby. You've got to, because there's stuff that I've owned in the past that, especially in this last 6 to 12 months, hurts a little bit. It's like a dagger in the heart every time I relook at a card. And my business partner messaged me and was like, someone's offered me this Gold Star Mew if you want. He wants 160K for it, but last comp was 190. I was like, I hate this card so much. Even though I should never have sold it. But I have multiple. Obviously, a lot of people will have stories to a degree, but all my stories of my high end are ridiculous. Just on an art academy basis, I don't. This isn't really public knowledge for sales, but I had the Gorgeist, which I won. Or not won. I bought off the winner for $300. I sold it for $85,000, and it paid off my mortgage. And I thought, that's really well. Like, I couldn't ask for any more. Now I'm 30 odd. I don't have a mortgage. Makes my life easier. It just sold 6 months later for $225,000. So like, is there a balance where should I sell anything? Should anyone sell anything? If you just buy today and go, I'm just going to disappear and go back to a 9 to 5 for a year and come back, will you be better off? Because sometimes I think I would be, honestly. So yeah, there's ups and downs. Like, as much as I'm successful, I've done well, I've also sold stuff because of having to sell stuff. And at the time, it's good money. I used to work on a really small wage, and in my head, I'm like, that was 3 months worth of my wages back then. And sometimes I probably shouldn't do that because it convinces me too often. But yeah, it's I don't know what to say. It's such a tough thing, tough market, and yeah, you've got to kind of just get on with it and be like, well, maybe I'll do all right in other stuff, which I have done. Like going back to the Cora Mew again, I had that in a top loader binder for years. I paid $50 for it. It was one of my first cards I ever graded through Chloe, and it came back at 10. At the time, it was $3,000, and I was like, that's crazy. I think one just sold on Goldin last night for 50.
Wow.
And I'm like, that's fine, right? There's goods and there's bads. Like, you can't win them all, but I'm doing all right. So it's a tough. But you just gotta, as a business, you gotta understand that you can't win them all. And if you didn't have the money that you sold at the time, maybe you didn't go into something else, which you've done something else for. And
Very
it's
valid.
like, butterfly effect. But it happens, right?
Same. Oh man. Right. A couple. I mean, I'm gonna sort of wrap these all into sort of one question. To be fair,
Sure.
Grading. Obviously, do you think it's going to become more or less important? And in that scale, do you think PSA continues to dominate, or are the likes of Ace, Tag Beckett, and all these other grading companies going to end up catching up or become the new dominant force?
Yeah. Funny enough, I had this conversation last night with my business partner about CGC 10s being crazily undervalued in compared to PSA 10s. And he just bought a CGC 10. So, first edition Neo-Gen Lugia in a PSA 10, we sold for $205,000. He just bought the CGC 10, just white label 10 equivalent, for $16,000. That gap is too big. The gap's too big.
That's massive.
Huge gap. And I said to him, I went, that seems like a really good buy compared to what we just sold the PSA 10 for. PSA is always going to have, it's ingrained in everyone too much. It's always going to have the monopoly. Whether they shut down every grading level, if not, I'm still going to be sending it to them because I need to get value out of cards.
Yeah.
People are still going to want to, I mean, it's cut out a lot of the, buying an illustration rare and turning a £5 card into a £50 card, right? But again, that's where Ace and that have come in a bit better because they're more affordable to be able to do that. But PSA is always going to be that top tier. as much as I wish people would move away to maybe CGC and other places, I just don't ever see it. And I also think PSA has gone up so much and is so stable is because all the online rip bag things, slab packs
Yep.
and stuff, they only buy. I see people on my story being like buying this at 92% because they're selling at 93% to the guys with the slab packs, and that's why the market's so strong on PSA at the minute, because there's always a way out at a percentage to them people.
I think that's really interesting. Quick take on what do you think of Tag?
I've never used them. I kind of like the slabs, but I'd never. I remember when they first come into the UK and people graded them and then couldn't sell the cards. And I also feel like there's too many. The people who own Tag were pumping it at the start just for the sake of it because they had money to pump and wanted to pump behind something. So I don't personally would use them. Like if someone offered me a Tag 10 Gold Star, I would be like, nah, I'm fine, you know. I'd be like, it'd be great for auction, but it ain't good for me.
That's fair.
So yeah, I don't know. They're cool, but I think it takes a certain collector who's invested in that company to want to buy that high end.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Now, so I've got a big scenario question for you here.
Sure.
Before we jump into the finale. If you were starting Chibi again today, you've got $5,000, no reputation, no audience, no existing stock. You've got to stay in Pokemon. You can't just jump out and go, no. What would you do?
Well, there goes my answer. I was going to say go to the casino, put it on red, and hope for the best for a few times. Yeah, I mean, it's 5,000. If you had offered me 5,000 in 2021, I would have been like, this is crazy amount of money. I could buy so much now. But it gets you like a few hundred okay singles and some slabs. It's very difficult. I mean, I would probably stay away from slabs and go, what can I be the best with? What can I use the money best for? And probably go for singles, and probably just stick to modern singles that, you know, people are going to go to every show and want to pick up. I'd put a little bit away for some advertisement to a degree, so you can kind of get your name out there. Maybe even reach out to a few people that maybe you know of them just from starting, like you've seen them on Instagram for a while before you've started or whatever, and you might offer them a decent rate. You might have to take a loss on a few things just to get someone in someone's favor to a degree, just so later down the line it would come back for you, because 5,000 enough to be like fly to America, go and connect with a load of people, try and set up a way to buy singles out there that would help you keep constantly stocked without flying. Like, it's not enough to do that. I mean, it probably would be, but I mean, I don't really fly anything less than first class currently. But anyway, it wouldn't it wouldn't work for me. But if you're okay flying economy, you'd probably be all right. But then you just eats too much of the budget away anyway. So probably go on eBay, find a binder of singles, price them, try and get them into know that you're not going to make tons of money, but just keep rinse and repeating and try and make the connections along the way while building a brand image. A lot of people would probably say jump on Whatnot or jump on eBay Live, but I wouldn't recommend it because there's so much competition in them spaces now. You just got to try and be unique and have a different vibe, I guess, to what other people have, or offer something unique, whether that's, you know, cute Pokemon binders or something that would keep people coming back to you every show. If you just do what everyone else does, you get overlooked quite quickly.
Get caught in the rat race.
Yeah, basically, which you don't want to do. You don't want to just blend into them 20 other vendors with AI logos and AI banners and offering 60% on everything, which you see at every show, which is quite funny nowadays, to be honest, being a graphic designer anyway. So yeah, probably that. I mean, it's not going to be easy. Yeah, 5,000 is tough to get going, but you will get there eventually. You just got to keep buying, selling, making connections.
I like it. I'll take that. We'll pass that on to some of the friends that we have in the scene that have just started. So let's move on to the old Rip and Sip finale, Daniel.
Yes, right. Sam, it's been a fucking pleasure, and we get to the final hurdle now. Appreciate you've been with us this long, and hopefully the audience has as well. But to be fair, like the purist or the hardcore in this hobby will be hopefully taking away a lot of information from.
I know I have.
Yeah,
I'm hosting.
I'm fucking buzzing right now. I'm all jacked up on Mount Dew. But right, what is the best thing Pokemon has given you?
Two actually. So one's true friendship in knowing who my true friends are, and one's probably quicker financial freedom than I thought was ever possible.
That's fair. That's fair.
Great answer.
And what's the biggest lesson Pokemon has taught you?
Oh, maybe I got to mix up. Maybe I said finding your true friend. The biggest lesson, jumping out of your comfort zone is not a bad thing usually, but also you can't please everyone. I think is a big, as much as people again with the community word and stuff. You want to you can't please everyone.
No.
There was times where I was in Discords and trying to please everyone, and it just backfired on me. And community to no community in the space of a few months, which is tough. So just know that you can't please everyone. Everyone has an opinion, especially in today's world, I guess. And your opinion is sometimes right. It's not always right. So you just got to suck it up when you're wrong, I guess. My business partner said it right the other day on a story. He was like, Chibi's basically like Marmite. You either hate him or love him, which is about true, to be honest. So I just appreciate the people who do stick by me, and there's been people who've been with me since day dot, and even when I speak to them now, which I speak to them quite regularly, they're like, we can't believe you got to this position, but I always look after them still, whether that's, some of them would help me out at shows, and I'd pay for everything. We go for food, spend thousands, any deals they want. If you want to buy stock from the website, here's a discount. Like, I help my friends out, and I like that aspect. I can do that now, because it always wasn't always that way at the start.
Yeah, definitely. So what's something people don't know about you?
I think probably the main thing is, in between the graphic design and going full-time Pokemon, I actually jumped on a horticultural course because I really like gardening and flowers and stuff. So in between leaving in September my job, I started a RHS level 3 course in basically gardening, and I was doing that, and I wanted to be, I'd been stuck in front of 4 screens for 4 years, so I needed a break, go and get outside, I guess. But yeah, I just really like being outdoors and kind of learning about everything, and then it got to the point where Pokemon took over and I couldn't carry on, which is a bit of a shame really, because I'd love to carry on the course, but then it also got a bit techie with it went a bit biology heavy about photosynthesis and all this shit, and I was like, gee, it's like being in high school again. I'm a bit I just wanted to look after a pretty flower and mow the grass a little bit. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, that's probably a lot of people don't really know about me. That I could have done that if Pokemon never took off. I'd probably be head gardener somewhere in a nice gardens, looking a nice view over a castle. I don't.
Instead, you know how Oddish evolves into a Blossom.
Yeah, basically, and something like that.
Oh,
yeah, I know how that works.
That made me go, what?
Yeah. Just break Rich on the final couple of questions. So Sam, what does success look like to you now? I suppose it is early retirement, right?
Yeah, I think I say this to my parents all the time. I don't think I could fully retire. I act like I'm semi-retired now. I'll pack my orders, I'll be on my phone, but again, I don't really feel like it's work, so I don't know. It doesn't feel like I'm getting up. Like, I'll wake up at 9 o'clock and I'll come and pack my orders, and then I'll drop the post off and I'll come back and I'll reply to emails and talk to people on Instagram for a bit. And then I'm like, oh, what's now? What else do I do? But for me, as taking Pokemon into like a life situation now, I really want to just move into our end goal house, be financially stable, and then kind of build a family and still just do this not on the side. I could carry on doing what I'm doing, but I have to disconnect a little bit because I'd have to sell a lot of my personal stuff, which would hurt a lot to make myself financially free, and get me into that position, which, yeah, I've got to come to terms with that, which is going to suck a little bit, but it's for my family. So, you're working for one reason, right? You've got to work to provide and set up a legacy, I guess. I don't know. So yeah, I guess do this for a few more years, maybe then sell some bits, get into the position I want to be, and then see what happens afterwards.
Nice. Rich, final questions on you, my friend.
Okay, mate. If Sam from 2015 could sit down with Sam today over a drink, what would you tell him?
First, make that a double Jack Daniels, not a single. Probably. I mean, I wish it was just have more faith in Pokemon at the time and buy double lever everything. But I think it would be more, it's yeah, you'll eventually find the career you want to actually do. Because I was always learning to be a graphic designer. I thought that's what I wanted to do, which I did up until the point where I'm buying and selling cards. So now I'm at the point where I feel he would be happy knowing that we got to this position. I mean, again, like I said earlier, I'm a bit grayer. The light's not really helping. I look actually full grey on this video. It's partly down to stress and also age. But yeah, just carry on. You'll get there eventually. And yeah, you should have bought double everything, you idiot.
Wise words indeed. Well, that brings us to the end of tonight's podcast, and I've thoroughly enjoyed it. Once again, mate, thank you so much for taking the time out to answer our questions and have a bit of a chin wag with us.
It's fine. Just before you go, just in case, if you want to buy singles, I'm going to plug because I've got to plug. I've got nothing else to plug.
Oh, yeah. We were going to invite you to anyway.
Oh, okay. Yeah, my website is chibicollectibles.com. It literally has, as what I said earlier, thousands of singles from base all the way through to modern. It also has some sealed on there, ranging from bits and bobs from everything. So yeah, and I will sort out a code and I'll give it to you guys. Actually, I might just say it now because this won't come out for a while. The code will be RIP 10. That's 10% off across the whole website. And I'll settle as soon as I get off this call, because otherwise I will forget. And just go mad. But I appreciate it anyway. It's been great chatting. I haven't done this in like 12 months, so it's been fun to engage with people and speak about the hobby. And hopefully you've seen the enjoyment I still get out of it. I'm not just all about the money and all about whatever. So yeah, I appreciate you guys having me, and I'll keep watching.
No, thank you.
Because I do watch it when I'm doing nothing else, sat on the couch. So
we appreciate
the fact that you said yes to come on and see it after watching these episodes is that's testament to you, my man. So thank you.
There's not been that much like effing and blinding. I think I've talked too much. You're not had a chance to. So
don't worry. There's more to come.
Time and a place. A place. But what's your Sam? What's your social on Instagram? What's your handle?
It's literally Chibi Collectibles. Collectibles with an A. I would spell out, but I can't be fucked.
Don't worry.
So yeah, Chibi Collectibles, and yeah, it's just got all the cool stuff I've got, and I don't own all of it anymore. So you can look down and scroll down a few months and be like, oh, I see what he was saying now. So
yeah. That'll be a fun little journey for anyone that wants to follow you for the first time. So once again, mate, thank you so much for joining us.
Yes, thank you very much.
We'll sign off on that basis. Sam, it's been brilliant. As always, I've been joined by the legend that is RagingNes. I've been CurioRich. This has been the Rip and Sip podcast. Thank you so much for watching and listening. Good night.
Peace.
Rip and sip. Roll the dice, take a grip. Rip and sip. Let the moment flick. Catch it.